doesn't make any difference.
And when the Democrats
here's why I'm one of the most powerful people in this country, because I don't care what people want to listen to. Is this getting ugly?
It doesn't have to be ugly. I'm asking.
No, you made it ugly.
You made it ugly by discussing something that tell me what you were discussing.
Grow hair.
Oh, that's really cool. That is really. You are 5 years old.
If your radio light sucks in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the Morning.
This photograph comes from 1976.
Yeah.
And you know what drew me to this picture?
No, what?
Were these fresh tire tracks. But there was no evidence of anybody being there. One of those crop circles.
Get some Ouija board out. Eerie. And you looked at this and said, I think I'm out of blow, right?
And I said,
In the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
what did you say, Lou?
Here we go.
I cued Lou, and he was
Rush.
My friends, greetings from Die Hard Headquarters, Reactionary Central, Mossback Mission Control. It is I, America's answer to the gas crisis, your methane maintenance man, Rush Limbaugh, seated at the anchor desk of CNN, the Clinton News Network, a division of the EIBB, Excellence in Bubba Bashing System. Topping the tirade this morning, $76,000 for a foursome with the president.
Well.
And I don't use the word foursome in the manner one would first be inclined to when concerning Mr. Clinton.
Good.
It's a golf outing, auctioned off at a fundraiser to benefit the Sidwell Friends, Chelsea's exclusive private school. The winning bid was made by a manager of computer systems for the U.S. Customs Service. Your tax dollars at work, my friends. Nice to know a federal worker has enough expendable cash to throw it away on something like hitting the links with Porky, isn't it? $76,000 for a game of golf does seem to be an incredible waste, especially when, according to some accounts, the president is perfectly willing to show off his putter for free. Apparently, Bubba is quite the duffer. As a liberal, he's obviously familiar with the concept of the gimme, as well as those difficult lies on the fairway. Never had a problem getting it close to the hole. Really knows how to swing. He's good with the wood, and much to Senator Al D'Amato's chagrin, has been quite adept at avoiding the water hazard. But as teed off as I may be at the chief executive, it is now time for me to put aside these petty differences and pause for my annual tribute to she who is the reason for my very existence.
Oh, good.
Inspired by the muse of Euterpe, I call this foray into lyric poetry and music the Mother. H is for your health care plan that tarried. I is for your life so insular. L is for the loser who you married. L is for the liberal that you are. A is for the alibis you gave us. Are those billing records in the hole? Why do I sing this song to you, dear Hillary? It's because you are the mother of them all.
All right, here's Rush Limbaugh with an unfortunate ode to our president, Bill Clinton.
And comes Mama now is such a phony. Filled with liberal sanctimony. Got a subpoena and is testified now. He's probably tossing and turning in the middle of the night, and I feel all right. I said, yeah, 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 shutting that one down, son, before I start a damn international incident, if you know what I'm saying. How you doing, Hoss? I'm dead. Anyway, I used to play down the road here just a little bit over to Vegas. So I'd fit right in with you in Albuquerque, don't you think? Remember I'd put on all that bogus Indian stuff, that turquoise jive and that white buckskin thing, and then have me some margaritas, blow a six-pack of animal tranquilizers, and then ventilate my teepee. Remember that? Anyway, looking around this here Native America reminded me of when me and old Priscilla, God bless her, we get bored to death back at Graceland. Couldn't fire red again or karate kick the dog into the wall or nothing, so we'd play Navajo. Yeah, we'd color each other up with body paint all over, and then I'd lift up the flap on a wigwam, and she'd smoke my peace pipe. Before you know it, we'd have had ourselves a flat-out ritual, man. Hey, speaking of that, I heard you talking about this here new girlfriend of your old Texas buddy, Kinky Friedman.
Yeah.
Now, let me see if I got this straight. She was an imprisoned bisexual, smack-addicted convict?
Right.
How the hell did the king of rock and roll ever miss out on that one? That right there's your dream woman, Hoss. Damn. Anyway, let me back on out of here, Slick, with something I'm working on for Kinky, okay? Goes along sort of like this. Went to a party, La Posada Hotel, had a room service bong and some muscatel. Just to add a couple extra kicks, bellboy brought me some of Kinky's chicks. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the whole damn block. Do the jailhouse lesbo rock. Idiot.
I am Imus in the morning, and this is WFAN in New York and Infinity Broadcasting Station. It's time for the local news, and here with all that stuff is my friend Charles McCord. Good morning, Chuck. I Live to Tell All, published by Villard, available at bookstores obviously everywhere. There's an incident in this book, George, involving Porter Wagner. And
Hey, it's in the book.
I just can't believe that Porter would have said on Backstage at the Opry, "We'll be right back, folks, and I'll tell you about the time George Jones grabbed my penis."
I don't think so.
Can you imagine in your lifetime that Porter would have ever told that story?
No, I didn't think he would. But,
No, so why did you? That's my question.
Well, I just thought it would, I need to get it all out, you know. If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
But I was so drunk I couldn't get to the bathroom, so I went up and peed in his phone booth.
I don't know. I've been pretty bad, but I've never done that.
Well, I've never grabbed Porter Wagner's penis either.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
10 o'clock.
You gotta love it. Imus in the morning. 2020 Sports.
West hits LaPointe in the corner. They can't clear. Crabtree shoots. He scores! Crabtree from the blue line. Oh, baby, the Blues are still alive.
A big win in St. Louis. Good morning. Mike Braidwood Sports. Ken Wilson with the excited call on KMOX Radio. In overtime, Blues defeat the Red Wings 5-4. St. Louis winger Tony Twist said they had to win after being whipped in Game 2.
I was tremendously embarrassed. I was embarrassed to show my face around St. Louis after that.
But now they can show their smiling faces. Sunglasses and be all they can be.
Welcome back, Mike.
Did you miss me?
Yes, we did.
It's nice of you to say.
We had Rob in here yesterday. That was painful.
But you had Scott out.
Well, whoever.
Yeah.
Breaking down that fourth wall here this morning.
Also last night, Chicago losing in 3 overtimes to Colorado 3-2. About time Chicago sports fans can use a little misery after their last couple of days against the New York Knicks. NBA, the Orlando Magic beat the Atlanta Hawks 117-105. Shaquille O'Neal with 41 points, and Shaq knows what works for him.
If I do what I'm supposed to do, I'll be okay.
Magic.
He says this is weird. They were interviewing him last night after the game, and after I'd finished reading Warren Rudman's book, and magical glove of the probing investigator. Let's see who elder broadcast statesman Walter Cronkite sticks it to today.
Tonight's Media Watch, a no-holds-barred, unflinching monitor of our nation's media might, mounts a two-pronged investigation, asking to assume the position individuals in the disparate locations of Washington, D.C. and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Lads, bend over and prepare for digital scrutiny. Let's address the worst first, shall we? In Washington, D.C., we're continually astonished at the insensitivity to common decency exhibited by the august Radio and Television Correspondents Association and its less than meritorious events planning officers, Keenan Block and Ivan Goldberg. To review in brief, Mr. Block exhibited the behavior and ethics of a bottom-feeding algae sucker the other day in myopically believing
believing he could shortchange Don Imus and concomitantly ailing children and babies by chiseling Imus on expenses the Radio Hall of Famer incurred, fulfilling his obligation to speak to the Correspondents Association dinner in the now celebrated, if infamous, speech from hell, all proceeds of which Imus had declared publicly he would be assigning to sudden infant death syndrome research and to the charity the Tomorrow's Children's Fund. Disappointed, hurt, and yes, indignant, Imus announced on his massively popular radio program that he would retain noted Washington lawyer Robert Bennett to sue the mother. In a further revelation of the content of the character of these calumnious correspondents, Imus had hardly gotten the name Bob Bennett out of his mouth when a fax flamed its way into the Imus offices from the girdle-challenged Ms. Ivan Goldberg, feverishly announcing there'd been an accounting error and that the money chiseled from children would be forthcoming after all. Well, excuse me, Ms. Goldberg, Mr. Block, but this old, heavily eroded but universally respected, weather-worn watcher of weasels says, not so f***ing fast. The sudden discovery of your accounting error, your pathetically pale apology, are both too little, too late. We all know what you are. Most satisfying, so do you. You conclude your facts. Don't hesitate to call if you have any further questions. Just one, Ms. Goldberg. Why are you still breathing? And now, very quickly, to our second media matter. The sad case of little Minneapolis third grader Zachary Jacobs and his mom, Kelly, who've been inconvenienced and worse by the insensitivity of a callous public servant. Zachary, a lad of tender years, just 8, objects to the material and substance of the Imus in the Morning program, which his insolent school bus driver insists on listening to. Zachary, you're right. The program is insipid, and your driver should shut the damn thing off. My advice, Zach, make the bastard miserable. He's one man. You're a busload of kids. Take the son of a bitch down and make him eat that radio. And our apologies to you, your mom, your grandmother, and your little sister. Do well and study in school, Zachary. Get good marks. And you won't have to wind up driving a f***ing school bus in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That is the final exit. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Thank you and good night. Second favorite blues singer, blind Mississippi white boy, Pig Feast Dupree. Morning, blind.
Morning, boy.
How you doing, baby?
I got the blues, boy.
I know you do now. What's this one called?
This is the Amelia Earhart blues.
I like this already.
Let me count this one off here.
Okay. What are you doing?
Just count it up, boy. I was going to make some history, be as famous as I could be. I was going to fly around the world, but then I crashed my plane into the sea. I was Amelia Earhart. Has anybody been looking for me? Been gone since 37, but I don't think that I was ever missed. Stuck in the Pacific with Gilligan, but I didn't worry because I was an optimist. Might have never gotten off this island, but I sure did get my ass on that bestseller list. Fame is fleeting when it happens, and at best is dubious. But what good is being famous when it's only posthumous? I was Amelia Earhart. I was lost and nobody knew where to look. Guess I should have spent my time sending out messages in bottles instead of writing this stupid motherfucker.
Blind Mississippi white boy, Pig Feast Dupree.
If anyone's son lost the cabin pressure, put that oxygen mask over your nose and mouth and breathe normally.
Who is neither blind nor black, nor does he have pig feet. Whatever. 23 to the hour. God almighty. 23 to the hour here on the Imus in a Morning program, and now live from Calvin Trillin. Good morning, Mr. Trillin.
Good morning.
Would you mind? We wondered if you would tell us the tic-tac-toe chicken story.
When an out-of-town visitor comes to New York, I usually take them downtown in Chinatown to play tic-tac-toe against a live chicken. I have found that when I take people down there, almost all of them look over the situation and they say the same thing. Well, the chicken gets to go first. And I say, yes, but he's a chicken. You're a human being. Surely there should be some advantage. If your radio sounds funny in the morning, You're listening to Imus in the morning.
And then a lot of them say, the chicken plays every day. I haven't played for years.
In the morning.
The Trillin coming up here in a week or so.
Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
Analyst, the late Richard M. Nixon.
Good morning. Thank you. Imus in the morning. Let's wrap this up quickly this morning, shall we, J.D.?
Good.
I'm very busy with the project you see I'm working on.
What is that?
My manifesto. Manifesto from the Unideck.
Oh, come on.
I'm going to insist that the Washington Post publish it of the United States.
Is she really going out with him? Oh, there she is. Let's ask her. Betty, is that Jimmy's ring you're wearing? Mm-hmm. Gee, it must be great riding with him. Is he picking you up after school today? By the way, where'd you meet him?
I met him at the candy store. Turned around and smiled at me. You get the picture?
Yes, we see.
That's when I fell for Imus in the morning.
There's 5,000 ties. We got 500.
But are probably damn near gone.
So he screwed us for Father's Day.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Abood. By the way, stop appearing in your own ads, Joseph.
He's not unattractive.
No, but he's certainly not a male model.
He has a serviceable look.
He's got that schnoz on him. He could break into a coin box on a payphone.
Joe Camel look.
He looks like Joe Camel.
Your radio sounds fun in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
Taking an ad on his own nose. He could appear on an ad on his own nose.
You know that ad, that Michael Jordan Nike ad where they all play basketball on his head?
Yeah.
They can do that on a boot's nose.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66. WFAN.
One word.
Like in the mad dog. Sports Radio 66. WFAN. In the morning.
All right, that was comment and observation on headline issues of the day. Here's Imus in Washington's senior political analyst, the late Richard M. Nixon.
And on an all-Dick week on Imus in the morning. Right, J.D.? Dick Cabot, Dick Nixon, Dick Army. Geez, that is a Dick Army. An army of dicks. All right, dicks, fall out. Just a little Ty Herndon humor there, Ivo. Are we trying to see how many dicks we can expose in 1 week, or what? Dick, 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 dick.
That will be fine.
Although I suppose before we entirely exit the dick discourse, we should address the matter of your brother. Issue 1. The other Imus, or three-legged Fred. You see, I've always been disturbed by the appellation two-legged Fred, believing it to be anatomically irresponsible. Because to be absolutely accurate, and I'm a stickler for accuracy, as you know, it should be three-legged Fred, taking into consideration the anatomic reality of your brother's Autobody Express Wrangler Dangler, if you know what I'm saying. So we're actually being graced by a visit from Fred, eh? I don't want to seem critical, J.D., but I've heard the phone calls with your brother. I'm not trying to be a naysayer, but show content-wise, isn't having him here live a little like Denise Brown inviting O.J. over for a knife-honing party? Are you suicidal or what? Oh, by the way, I've seen the prototype here of the Autobody Express apparel catalog. Quite impressive. Makes me wish I'd built something entrepreneurial off my Watergate fame of some years ago. You know, a line of presidential Watergate wear, denim work shirts with a prison number and the name Dick embroidered over a logo depicting a f***ing tape recorder. Anyway, lots of luck with the catalog, Devo, particularly if it'll make you stop hawking this junk on the air for 5 minutes. So, what else is happening? Oh, my, what's this? Check the photograph here, Ivo. Pretty cute. Environmentalists, I guess, actually taught an elephant seal to testify before Congress. Oh, wait a minute. Well, that's no elephant seal. That's Webb Hubble. For a moment, I thought this was an article about some Richard Girish save some absolutely pointless rodent harangue. Well, perhaps that's not too far off base, though, as I'm sure most people who've ever had any dealings with Mr. Hubble think that he is an absolutely pointless rodent, eh? For my part, I couldn't admire the man more. My kind of fella. Could have used him. Put him in charge of Hush and Slush instead of that idiot Maurice Stans. Did you see them pull out Vince Foster's briefcase the other day on the hearings?
Yeah.
There was a Miller's moment if I ever saw one.
And we're just barely getting started with all this, J.D. Exhilarating, isn't it? Yes, sir. I wasn't the only worm to squirm at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. To borrow Bill Clinton's observation when Bob McNamara's Vietnam excuse book came out, somehow Whitewater makes Dick Nixon feel vindicated. Bill, before all this is over, you may need another term or two. Let me supply them. Start with implicated, then incriminated, followed by incarcerated. Ouch! A withering look with a bloodshot eye through the old Dick scope today, man, by Dick Nixon, a deceased former president of the United States.
And here's the problem before we get to the national news.
What's the problem?
Now, is obviously Pat O'Brien's our guy because he's on every time he wants to be.
Sure.
And that is, I think we need some, I don't know, we need to refocus our career.
What do you want me to do? Work for Fox.
Well, I don't know. How about Fox? Oh, working for Fox. How about calling Dick Ebersol and working for NBC Sports, which is the sports place to work?
I have a job at
Of course, they have a studio host, and Bob Costa's a very fine one.
Right. And he's very good. We all look up to Bob.
I believe he won the award, didn't he?
About 8 times, yes.
Yeah. Didn't he win the most recent one? Were you up for that against him? Or?
I've never been up for that one.
So maybe if you'd stop pointing at the camera, posing in your...
But I mean, what's
boner nose and
wrong
boot
with a
clothes.
career that includes the U.S. Open, college football in the
That's
fall,
2 weeks. That's
entertainment
8 weeks.
tonight, a couple of syndicated shows?
Right.
What's wrong with it? Some time off?
Well,
to be with Sean and the-
I don't know. What is wrong?
It seems scattered. It seems so disparate.
It does.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something
There's
is troubling.
no focus.
All right, well,
something's
yes.
troubling.
I mean, given a choice, let's say I had the choice of
Let
being...
me offer this.
Let's say I had the choice...
Perhaps the I-Man is jealous.
Yeah, I'm one of the most, perhaps the most powerful, currently the most powerful media figure in America, and I'm jealous of you hosting a 3-minute radio show on the CBS Talk Radio Network.
Commentary.
I understand that. And filling in for that leg warmer wearing wuss bunny, John Tesh on Entertainment Tonight. Yes, I'm seething with jealousy.
Well, then why bring it up?
Because we want to help you. God, why are you so resistant to this?
Resistant. I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Of course, because you don't know any better.
You know why? You're in denial.
Absolutely. You're like you're like I was when I was on cocaine. You are in denial. That's what you are.
Back to the meetings.
You need to go to career rehab.
A 12-step career meeting.
Absolutely.
Hello, my name is Pat. I don't know what to do.
You can't get on an airplane and fly to L.A. and the aluminum siding dork sitting next to you working on his power book turns to you and says, hi, what do you do? And you say, I'm Pat O'Brien. I'm the host of March Madness when March Madness got a 1 share.
First of all, I don't have to tell them what I do. They know what I do.
Oh, come on.
You might have to say, I'm Don Imus. I'm the guy who made the speech.
I don't have to say anything.
I'm the guy. Maybe you might have heard about me.
Wandering through
I
any
wear a
airport.
cowboy hat.
I'll tell you what.
I look like Johnny Rivers.
I'll tell you what. You walk with me through an airport.
Yeah.
I'll walk with you through
You walk with me through an airport.
I'll walk with you.
And people are falling because this
I'll
may come
walk
as
with you through any airport.
this may come as a shock to my friends inside the Beltway, but people in this country are so happy that I took out to pant load in the White House, which, by the way, I didn't even go down there intending to do. Of course not. And those other phonies in the news media who remain my friends, that they're beside themselves, people in this country, kissing my hand in airports.
Look, it's Barnaby Jones. That's why Bob Dole's got such a big lead in the polls, huh?
Well, because I haven't taken sides in this thing.
Of course not. He's
You
trying to...
did early. You took Bob Dole early.
I beg
And then
your pardon.
jumped off the wagon.
I didn't jump off of Bob Dole's wagon, nor have I jumped off of Bill Clinton's wagon. Either on this show. This is not Rush Limbaugh. This
I'm
is not about
disputing.
This is not about trying to get somebody elected. It's about trying to resurrect your pathetic career, which you obviously are in denial
I'm
about.
not disputing. I'm not disputing that you're.
And then you come over here this morning, and I figure, well, it must be some big deal to doing.
Yeah.
What is Pat doing? He's hosting this figure skating extravaganza on what is it?
Skate mate debate or something.
Skate night with Scott Hamilton, the light bulb head, on CBS Sports tonight, up against Friends, Seinfeld, and ER.
I'll call you tomorrow with the ratings.
Blades and
Okay.
A's.
But I'll walk through an airport with you anytime for $1,000 to go to Sid's.
Oh, make it $1 million. Make it $1 million. Make it $1 million.
I like this. This is good. Then.
You don't want to walk through an
I'll
airport
walk
with
through
me.
an airport with you. Any airport.
You'll have to carry his briefcase.
Please walk through an airport. My back
Somebody grab that damn thing.
It's 10 minutes after the hour here on the I'm Showing program. It's time for a little national news.
Careful, you carry
Where's the
this
damn
for
gate? I'm tired. And it's time now for the national news. Good morning, Charles McCord.
There's Pat O'Brien and Peter Frampton. I thought he was dead.
in and Bernie's thing. He's dragging him along. Shut up and leave me alone. Why don't you stop yucking it up, you goober, and do the news?
Absolutely.
I didn't know Brian's father was still alive.
Look, it's Red Skelton. Maybe we'll do Clem Cadiddlehopper for us.
Hey, Bubba, what's that you're eating?
A copy of Dr. Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream speech, Beavis. This is Black History Month, you know.
I had a dream last night. These naked chicks were like rubbing their thingies up against me, and like when I woke up, I had a Woodrow.
That's not the kind of dream Dr. King was talking about, Beavis. He was talking about freedom for all races and colors.
I like my dream better.
Dr. King's dream was more of a fervent wish, Beavis.
Yeah, well, like, I wish naked chicks would, like, rub their thingies up against me.
Everybody's entitled to their own dreams and wishes, and you know, Beavis, sometimes dreams come true.
Yes. Yes.
I dreamed that one day I would become president of the United States.
Yeah. And like O.J. dreamed that he killed his wife.
Well, just because he dreamt it doesn't mean he did it, Beavis.
Oh, yeah? How do you know?
Because I dream about killing my wife every night. This conversation never happened.
So, I'm all hot to watch Friends last night on NBC.
Right.
And then they really wimped out.
What do you mean they went down?
Well, because they had the wedding. They just had a brief little part of it. But they didn't show them kissing.
Well, that's not necessary to make the point of the program. They were two skanks anyway. I want to see Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston swapping spit, baby.
You know,
If your radio sounds fun in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
the show's good.
Yeah.
But
What do you want to put on a strap on or something?
not really.
What the hell are you looking for?
Well, did you watch it?
Yes, I watched.
Well, weren't you disappointed? Be
No,
honest.
I didn't want to see those two pigs kissing.
Oh, yeah. You know, you have no sense of adventure, Bernard.
Cyberbo is here.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Annex Mobile Fan Highway Patrol.
Yeah, I'm missing the morning. In your shorts, 2020 sports.
Out it goes to Russell, and he will shoot the three, no good. Rebound, David Robinson, ahead to Sean. He drives in, slammed up. And with 37 seconds to go, the Spurs by 11, and this series is tied at 1. San Antonio evens the score with Utah. Good morning, Mike Breen with sports. This sportscast sponsored by the MTA. Jay Howard with a call at the Alamo Dome. As the Spurs beat the Jazz 88-77, Spurs guard Avery Johnson says they had the right attitude.
Before the game, we talked about really taking Utah serious like they're a championship team, which they very well could be, and that's why we played a little bit better tonight.
And now Avery and his teammates go to Mormon country, Salt Lake City, for games 3 and 4.
I'm very concerned here. Rabbi Mark Gelman has a new book out called God's Mailbox. But it's just it's not co-authored with Father Tom Hartman.
Oh, it's not?
No. And I just read the acknowledgments here.
Right.
And he doesn't even thank Father Tom for anything.
Uh-oh.
So clearly, a rift. An ugly situation is apparently the potential for some sort of ugly situation here exists.
Sure.
And, of course, they'll both be here this morning, the priest and rabbi.
A religious war.
Two guys who appear in Good Morning America, the Father Tom Hartman and Rabbi Mark Gelman, who apparently didn't like splitting the proceeds from these other books. Well, this new book is called God's Mailbox. More stories about stories in the Bible. Now, late headline developments we're following in the Imus and Washington Network Nerve Center.
I'm David Brinkley, anchor of this program and my own weekend effort, This Week with David Brinkley. Joined here by our regulars, with whom you're probably familiar, Walter Cronkite, Rush Limbaugh, Paul Harvey, and in Minneapolis, Minnesota today, roving correspondent Don Imus. Here now, the news.
Oh, good.
First, embarrassment for the Clinton Whitewater defense team, both here in Washington and in Little Rock, Arkansas, where the president's battery of lawyers is working feverishly to undo the damage from Mr. Clinton's videotaped testimony in the trial of Arkansas Governor Jim Guy Tucker and the McDougalls, Susan and James. The humiliating moment occurred when it became clear that the White House had somehow sent the wrong VCR cassette to Little Rock to be shown at trial. With the president watching the proceedings via closed-circuit satellite hookup, here's what happened.
All right, I believe we're ready, counsel. Will the bailiff start the tape, please? Jurors, can you all see? Okay, fine.
Oh, that moron Icky sent the wrong tape. That's my copy of Lucy Lay's Little Rock. Hey, somebody.
Bailiff, shut that off. This is most improper. Stop that tape.
Is she limber or what? Wait a minute. Leave it on. This is a good part. Look at that. Go, baby.
In Washington, trying to put the very best face on the episode possible, presidential lawyer Robert Bennett said he felt the accidental substitution of Lucy Lay's Little Rock for Bill Bamboozle's bullshit, quote, is of no great consequence.
Also, regarding the Whitewater affair, an administration official is directly disputing the testimony of an ex-Arkansas banker, Don Denton, who told Senate Whitewater probers that a shady loan allegedly made to then-Governor Clinton in 1978 was granted as a favor because Clinton was viewed as a rising star in Arkansas's tangled, incestuous, venal, sordid, squalid, dirty, foul, putrefied politics. The White House official said Mr. Clinton never asked for special favors. The president later commented,
Hey, baby, wanna go out?
wait a second, baby. Well, I wouldn't entirely say that I never asked for any special favors. One time, I remember I was in my room at this hotel, and Mr. President, and I asked this here little old brunette. God's sake, Mr. President, please just shut up. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell her. See, but Jesus, shut up, you moron. Gosh, Mike, you're worse than I am. I mean, that's over the top, man.
In other developments from the entertainment world, Martin Lawrence is back in a hospital, even though nothing turned up in a drug screening that followed the comic's bizarre behavior when he was found screaming incoherently and waving a pistol in the air in the middle of a busy Los Angeles intersection. A spokesman said he was simply suffering from exhaustion and dehydration, which are often known to cause what doctors call armed vehicular heebie-jeebie screaming fits. Lawrence was re-hospitalized, though, after he was found early today in the middle of a runway at Los Angeles International Airport, nude, screaming for Margot Kidder, while juggling his 4-month-old daughter, a coconut, and a burning highway flare. Reached for comment in Washington, D.C., noted attorney Bob Bennett said he felt Lawrence's second episode of bizarre behavior, quote, would be of little consequence.
Rabbi Mark Gelman and Monsignor Tom Hartman are here. You guys had an interview with Jeff Greenfield.
So we were discussing Halloween.
Is Halloween Satanist?
And you showed up in a...
I showed up in a pumpkin head.
And what did you wear, Father Tom?
A black mask.
That wouldn't be the first time, now would it, Father Tom?
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
And I said, look, I don't do intermarriages, and I don't think it'd be appropriate for me to marry a Christian and a Jew in a movie if I don't do it in my life. And they said, that's too bad, Rabbi, because there's high billing for this, there's a lot of money, and there's also probably a nude scene with the rabbi and this voluptuous babe. So I said, oh, you want Rabbi Gelman, I'll get him. Just a minute.
In the morning.
And sing this one.
Here comes the weekend, honey. What's going on? We put our feet up, honey, party all night long. Oh, baby, whatever. I'm with you. Always stay at home.
you. Yep. On the weekend, baby. So if y'all in this part of the country, check out the Globe Theater in Delbert McClinton. That's a good show. Well, he's fabulous, man. Come on. It's 23 till the hour of the talk show Geraldo. And here he is now. Good morning, Mr. Rivera.
Hey, Don.
So let me see now if I understand this right.
Good.
You made a deal with the devil.
I did.
And now you've suddenly found Jesus.
I have indeed.
Is that the deal? Well, tell me about this.
Roger King has been my arch enemy in the talk show business for 10 years. You know, Oprah's distributor. He's a guy who just told me his good news and bad news. I said, what's the bad news, Roger? I just wrote Oprah a check for $140 million. What's the good news? It cleared.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Back to the plane ride. If you're going to change this daytime show, we've got to get Cece to read something other than the National Enquirer.
She read them all.
I swear to God, she read it for 5 hours.
Were her lips moving? Was she...
In the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
The late General George S. Patton.
Daddy, I'm appearing before you people this morning regarding an issue of protocol and procedure. My subject is something I want you to make note of and remember as you make your way through your military and/or government careers. I bring it up because it is something I hope you will avoid. In today's ever-thickening atmosphere of political correctness, there is a proclivity among individuals in leadership roles and positions of ultimate responsibility to step forward when the shit hits the fan and announce with grand self-effacement and self-censure that, yes, they assume, as it's usually stated, full responsibility for whatever shit hit whatever fan. This public acknowledgement of guilt is, in every case, performed with sweeping self-righteous sanctimony and melodramatics. Please turn your attention to the overhead projection. Private, go those lights. I believe you will all recognize these figures, who are among the more recent practitioners of the theatrical mea culpa art. Reno, Attorney General. Kelso, Admiral, retired, United States Navy. Perry, Defense Secretary. The common characteristic, the shared trait of all these people, here, and here, is a phoniness so pure that it would have given Houdini a hard-on. Very brief case review. Janet Reno, the Attorney General of the United States, stepped forward, finally, to accept responsibility for the incineration of a barn full of Jesus freaks called the Branch Davidians. Begging the question, would there be somebody else responsible? She's the Attorney General. Why is it necessary for the obviously responsible party to step forward and say she's ultimately responsible? William Perry stepped forward to say that he, the Secretary of Defense, accepts the responsibility for 2 American F-15s playing Space Invaders with 2 American helicopters. He's the Secretary of Defense. Who else would be responsible? Mother Teresa? And Admiral Kelso, accepting ultimate responsibility for tailhook. Who else? Tom Cruise? There is no emptier pronouncement, people, than the top officer of any agency or organization accepting responsibility for some idiotic blunder that has occurred at some point down the chain of command. It started with, next slide, Private, this man, Harry S. Truman, when he stepped up, took responsibility for blowing a jillion Japs in the jelly, and said, this is where the buck stops. It stops with me. I take full responsibility. Well, no, Sherlock. Of course you take full responsibility, because you are fully responsible, you sawed-off, hat-hawking hick. You're the president. Of course, I must confess, empty as the gesture is, it would be refreshing to have a certain current president step forward to accept responsibility for something, anything, other than his decision, announced to those no-nonsense interrogators of MTV, to wear jockey briefs. Any questions? That is all.
The late General George S. Patton Jr. here on the Imus in the Morning program.
Hey, Papa, what are you doing with that magazine?
Taking a look at my adversary, Babies.
Bob Dole.
Oh, I'm not worried about Bob Dole, Babies.
You should be.
I got everybody from Imus to the Pope hammering me. Mr. Dole's no threat. I'm younger, I'm prettier, and I'm smarter.
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
This here's the guy who scares me.
This weenie little beaver cleaver looking dude scares you?
His name is Ralph Reed, and he's more like Eddie Haskell than the beaver.
He's the kind of kid we tape kick me signs to. Why are you afraid of him?
Well, he's the leader of the Christian Coalition.
What's that? Some band like Hootie and the Blowfish?
No, it's a political alliance, kind of like Nudie and the Loaves and Fishes.
So he's some right-wing nutlog?
Well,
or run against him. He does make my day knock. Go, Jesus. Eva was a dreamer.
I plan to use the Martin Lawrence I was dehydrated defense. That's what Lawrence Taylor should have done when they, picked him up for trying to buy the crack last weekend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm dehydrated.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Would you like to send Mr. Lupica for his 3 little boys anything free for these nice plugs you get in his column, Fred?
Fred, did the line go dead?
What happened, Fred?
Fred!
Jesus.
How about some salsa?
I don't think the kids want...
Kids don't want salsa, Fred.
No, they want...
It's great on cereal.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
In your shorts, 2020 sports.
Now the pressure by the Bulls. Harper brings it up. Harper on the move, 7 seconds, 6, 5. Harper to the lane, back to Mason. Mason to start. Travel. Turned it over. Starts travel.
Knicks robbed in New York. Good morning. Mike Greenwood Sports. Neil Funk with the call of the Bulls' 94-91 victory over the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. A traveling call on Starks, plus another travel on Patrick Ewing with under a minute left. 2 calls that really hurt the Knicks.
Patrick Ewing walks every time he is in the lane there. Every single time he takes 3 steps.
Well, Ewing felt the traveling calls were bad traveling calls.
I didn't think either one of our travel would travel. My travel, I didn't think was a travel, and I definitely didn't think his was.
How many steps can you take? You can take 2 steps. He takes 3 every time he takes a step, or he moves his feet.
That's correct.
Well, okay, so they should call it every time on.
Sure.
They're letting him off.
They can make a travel call pretty much every time down the floor.
Well, I don't think so. Not an MJ they can. But here's the thing. Now, I don't know how to explain this, but I found myself rooting for Patrick Ewing there at the end of that game. Because he made 3 big shots, huge shots.
Yeah. Didn't make the last one.
I know he didn't make the last one, but I mean, I was hoping he would. Well, he didn't choke. But I was hoping that he would make it. I don't know. I can't explain it. I just think, I don't know. I'm in Washington, Senior Military Affairs Advisor, the late General George S. Patton, Jr.
At ease, as you were. I can now reveal why you people have been called here this morning. The news is not good. We are about to embark on our most perilous mission to date. Some of you will not be coming back. We are going to be jumping into a drop zone populated by individuals so dangerous, so utterly without common characteristics of humanity as to defy the imagination. Private, let's look at the target. Fire up the overhead and pretend that rack of lights up there is a high-tech corporation's board of directors and you're the Unabomber. Jesus. Did we take any casualties? No? Good. Slide 1, Private. That's it, people. Satellite view. A forlorn hellhole of hazard. Anybody recognize it? Yes, soldier.
Sir, that's Branson, Missouri, sir.
Excellent. You'll be a platoon leader on this mission, soldier.
Please, sir. No, sir.
Now then, the Imus in the Morning program, throwing all caution to the wind, is actually headed into this territory this week.
Oh, God, sir, the humanity.
I know. I'd much rather face a battalion of malodorous Iraqis in their underwear myself, but this experience won't be all that different. Branson, Missouri, a place where washed-up, teeth-sucking, hee-haw guest hosts go to die, much like an elephant's graveyard for gophers. Well, slide 2, Private. Here, close-up of the so-called Branson Strip. Over 50-odd theaters scattered here, and here. Yeah. We will be going in with the objective of blowing them all up and ridding this landscape of an infestation of people such as the Lennon sisters, with the surviving remnants of the Lawrence Welk Show, the Osmond brothers, who are now all pushing into their 60s and 70s, Glenn Campbell, who we hope to hang from a Wichita line, Mickey Gilley and Boxcar Willie, who intelligence reports may be as close to each other as their names suggest. Here is the Grand Palace Theater, the largest capacity, where you can look at the results of Kenny Rogers' latest failed liposuction. Branson even has, as God is my witness, Yakov Smirnoff, Bobby Vinton, and Tony Orlando and Don. Jesus, people. I would not have been surprised if William Colby had turned up with a theater in Branson, had they not regrettably located him otherwise not so many days ago in Maryland.
Shut up.
And who attends these programs? 52,000 clones of Fred Imus and cousin Minnie Pearl, who just pulled into town on a smoking 1953 school bus with bumper stickers all over it that say, "My boss is a Jewish fisherman." This shall not stand. Enough.
with a geographic location that plays host to people whose philosophy and practice is derived from the Mickey Gilley hit, "Oh, the sheep all look prettier at closing time." Get your gear together and let's mount up.
Sir, mount up, sir.
Poor choice of words. Let's go kick some butt. Thank you for your attention. That is all. You all.
A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3, go.
All the girls all get prettier at closing time. How they all began to look like movie stars. How the girls all get prettier at closing time. When the change starts taking place, it puts the glow on every face of the fallen angels. Of the Backstreet Boys. The fallen angels. Of those Backstreet
Imus in the morning.
Wondering about...
All right, here now, Imus in Washington, senior correspondent from the hood, Snoop Doggy Dogg, on Martin Lawrence, Mickey D's, and same-sex marriage.
Yeah. Snoop is in the house. Got the 411 for y'all. First off, my wife is smoking too much chronic, getting chinky eye on the stimuli. But they consider and recognize the same-sex marriages. It just cause a bunch of pineapple eating, grass skirt wearing. Come on, I wanna lay your faggots, wanna walk down the aisle. Ain't no reason the other 49 got to get in line, know what I'm saying? They're gonna push all them right-wing homophobes over the edge. It's enough to drive a brother crazy. Stand in the middle of traffic shouting, fight the power, know what I'm saying? I know that the drug test came out negative, but I think that what made my man Martin so dehydrated was a lack of crack. As he went crazy over the inherent racism that's behind that new hamburger at Mickey D's. Of course, when you consider that it costs more money and us black folk are the main consumers down at Ronald's place, know what I'm saying? Snoop holding a cipher, so pump up the bass. It's mad chill, y'all. It's mad dope, y'all. It's the Butters. Here come the bride, or is it the groom? Bhakti boys marrying, prophecy of doom. When a man wear a white gown on his wedding day, they gonna throw rocks when he throw his bouquet. What's my name? Doggy Dog. What's my name? What's my name? I'm talking to you, faggot. My end, why are you so disheartened? You a millionaire, or have you just forgotten? You got fame and fortune, so why don't you chill? Cause if you don't, there's about a billion brothers who will. What's my name? Doggy Dog. What's my name, y'all? Snoop Dogg. Answer me, bitch. Why Ronald McDonald think he can do what he please? Changing the menu down at the Mickey D. Charging more for the burgers to increase his bottom line. Drive-through, drive-by, bust a cap in his behind. What's my name? Snoop Dogg. Yo, Clowny. Yeah, you. The one on the golf course there with that red hair and that big floppy shoes. I'm talking to you, bitch. You want to give us a real happy meal? Why don't you forget that tour surprise and put a job in the box? Know what I'm saying? What is my motherfucking name? Happiness.
Imus in the morning.
Arkansas, Chris.
Good morning, Imus.
What are you doing in Harrison, Arkansas?
I own Ramsey Nursery, one of the best garden centers in the Ozarks, I think. Hey, I'm sending up some T-shirts, as a matter of fact.
Don't send them.
Hey, they say, on the left sleeves, they say, grow, baby. Hey, but be sure that you open the box now and nobody else be in the room.
Your radio sounds fun in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
Hey, after your little show in Branson, we're having a little get-together down at the nursery. We're having Fred's hot stuff sandwiches.
We should have banged out with Grow Baby.
Besides, yours isn't the kind of nursery that he would like to visit.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
It's 10 o'clock.
They go through you, they go around you. They're speed and slashing, and then you got Rodman.
And then you get the long rebounds coming out of jump shots. Coming back.
Watching the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
My brother picked pick editor's note.
Where did that horse finish?
6. Guess who else picked editor's note? Al Michaels, Dave Thomas, well, not Dave Thomas, Dave Harmon, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But
Dave Thomas, the guy from Wendy's, which is where editor's note is now, by the way, at Wendy's.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
By the way, I love Jim McKay.
Yeah.
I think America does, but it's time to hang him up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Move from that horse track to that dog track.
I mean,
The phony
Jesus,
bunny.
Lots of dogs chase a phony bunny around a thing and have a cocktail and you're out of there.
WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting Station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon. It's 3 o'clock. This is Andy Gold.
George Jones, whose new book, I Live to Tell All, published by Villard, available at bookstores obviously everywhere. There's an incident in this book, George, involving Porter Wagner. And,
Hey, it's in the book.
it's in the book. I just can't believe that Porter would have said on Backstage at the Opry, "We'll be right back, folks, and I'll tell you about the time George Jones grabbed my penis."
I don't think so.
Can you imagine in your lifetime that Porter would have ever told that story?
No, I didn't think he would.
No, so why did you? That's my question.
Well, I just thought it was, I need to get it all out, you know. If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
But I was so drunk, I couldn't get to the bathroom, so when I paid this phone bill.
I don't know. I've been pretty bad, but I've never done that.
Well, I've never grabbed Porter Wagner's penis either.
In the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
2020 Sports. Bogey with Morris Grant on him. Down low goes Grant Long. Grant Long doubles. Gets it out to Craig Elo. Left side three. It's good. Craig Elo knocks down a huge three.
Atlanta fights off elimination. Good morning. Mike Greenwood Sports. Steve Holman the call at the Omni. The Hawks beat the Magic 104-99. A loss would have meant the season is over. A win means the season continues as they had trailed 3 games to nothing. But the Hawks did receive some help. None other than Shaquille O'Neal stepped up. Shaq 5 of 17 from the free throw line.
I think they tanked the game, frankly, to take it back home.
Yeah.
Make more money for the local radio and television coverage of
That's it.
For their home team situation. I think that's what all these deals are, all these series. I think that's exactly what the Bulls did. The Bulls, I think, intended to lose one of these. Well, maybe not.
I think you're foolish.
Okay, fine. But I do. I know it's a consideration for us. At our local radio station here in New York, we make a lot of money every time the Knicks play a game. So, and the more games they play, the more we want. So,
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Fix were in on this at the Garden of these last 2 games.
I'll investigate.
I wouldn't be surprised if Fix is in tonight. So, Bernard, I need you to come get this.
Oh, good. That's what.
As for Shaq Fu, he stood up like a man after that woeful performance from the free throw line.
Take the blame for tonight's game. Missed a lot of shots, I missed a lot of free throws, but I'm not going to miss those same shots or those same free throws on Wednesday. So I'm going to take the blame for tonight's game.
Always good to hear from Shaq Fu.
He shoots free throws like Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah. Great. Meanwhile, for the Hawks.
Situation.
Mo Bender.
I see invitation.
Sing your song, fat boy.
To take what's not really ours. To make it through the midnight hour.
Nice rhyme.
It's a cheating situation. Just a cheap imitation. Doing what we have to do. When there's no love at home. Imus in the morning.
Have mercy. Good God. Coming old disc jockey, Scott Muni, Scotzo.
So I'm sitting there in the living room with Big Pink, with Dylan, Levon Helm, and a couple of the other pantlos from the band, and Wavy Gravy shows up with Gracie Slick and a bag of about 50 tie sticks. Dylan takes one, rolls the whole thing up in one easy wider, smokes about half, then pulls down his pants and says,
No.
You want to see the real Big Pink?
Scotzo.
With that, Gracie drops to her knees.
No, Scotzo.
What?
We're on the air.
Oh, Scotzo here with you with a special edition of Book Nook. I'm here with head librarian Don Imus, who's been flogging his latest literary find, I Was Amelia Earhart, like it was one of the items available from the Auto Body Express catalog. I took your advice, Rats, picked up the novel, and after reading it, all I can say is, if only you had been in the cockpit with her.
Shut up.
You're the most pretentious person in the universe.
Really?
The best thing you can say about this book is that you can read it from cover to cover in one trip to the bathroom.
Shut up.
The Cat in the Hat has a more complex plot. I'm only 3 pages into it, and I already can't wait for this bitch's plane to go down. Part of the problem for me with it is it doesn't address the most elusive mystery about the whole Amelia Earhart controversy. Why would any self-respecting luggage company want to name itself after someone who got lost between airports? I tell you, Amelia Earhart's plane should be the next logical connection from the Barnacle bus. And attention flight attendants, if you could, please save a first-class seat for Kathy Lee Gifford. Man, each morning I pray that Regis has just 1 cup of coffee too many and ends up beating her to death with Gelman's clipboard.
That's nice.
You know, Frank wakes up next to her every morning thinking, please God, let this be the day I find an abnormal growth so I can finally put an end to this hell. So she uses child slave labor to manufacture her hideous polyester pantsuits. Who cares?
Well,
although I'm sure from the Hondurans' point of view, it's not that pretty a picture.
No.
I mean, there's poor little Pancho and Miguelito standing around the sweatshop going, first that fat pig Sally Struthers, he sold our food. Then this sock-popping Kathy Lee makes us work 16-hour days for a bag of rice. Keep these f***ing white women out of here.
Got me in the Imus to the Morning program. Well, a little harsh there, but anyway, it's 18 till the hour here on the Imus Morning program. I gave a...
So easy to find an unhappy one. Till I started looking for mine. Imus in the morning.
Well, then...
Imus in the morning. Flashback.
16 candles makes me kinda sick, 'cause it's the birthday of this newest I-Man chick. Shut up. Hey, I'm a king of rock and roll here, son. Just found another area of shared experience between you and me, Hoss.
What's that, Elvis?
Rock and roll, drugs, a few shorter than John Bobbitt's and now daycare dates.
Idiot.
Now, I know I heard you warning people not to go on about it, but I wrote a little tune anyway. It goes something like this here. Well, she got past her mama, sneaked past her pa. Then I took her shopping for a training bra. Jesus, son, what did you have to do to snag this one? Get a job as a crossing guard? Hang out in the doll aisle at Toys R Us? And to think that I took all that grief back there when I married Priscilla, remember?
Sure.
Hell, at least she wore nightgowns. Now, this one of yours still must have jammies with feet in them, for crying out loud. You know, it does bring back some warm memories, though, son. Like when me and Priscilla, God bless her, would play high school. Yeah, she'd dress up like a cheerleader and then either talk into my megaphone or give my baton a twirl.
That'll be fine.
Sound familiar?
No.
Yeah, I figured it would. Hey, by the way, defying all odds, I hear you're kicking a little butt with this syndication thing, Austin.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Up to number 2 in Austin.
Boston.
Yeah, and all them other places. Portland, Maine, Aiken, North Carolina, Kalamazoo, Michigan. What is this, man? Mercy syndication? Well, hell, I used to have more people passed out in my bathroom than live in Aiken, North Carolina.
Fine.
And speaking of age disparities, don't you think there might be a problem when the age of the program host starts to exceed the age of his target audience? Well, of course, I got lucky. Before I got irrelevant, I got dead.
Yeah.
Might be something you want to start thinking about.
Well.
Doing a little bit of that subterranean horizontal limbo, also. I don't care who you're going out with. You know you're about over, man, when your neck and your wiener are in a wrinkle race and it's about a dead heat.
Shut
you know what I
up.
mean?
Just shut up.
Anyway, let me back on out of here behind a little tune to wrap her up on, okay? And let me sing it now. Well, the trophy blonde means you stayed too long. Time to get out, 'cause they're coming with the gong. Get off the deck, ask for the check. You got as many wrinkles in your pecker as your neck. You're overdone and through.
Idiot.
Think Estelle Getty and forget that ingenue. Oh.
I'm glad you're dead.
Thank you very much.
Deirdre and I have never had anyone to our apartment for dinner. So we're having a test run tonight with 2 of the most sophisticated people I know.
Yep.
Mike Lynn and his wife Nina. And they, and I would just say this to both Mr. and Mrs. Lynn: eat first before you come over.
Why don't you fake your own deaths today?
I said, what kind of wine do you drink? Well, I know what kind. I know what he drinks. He drinks anything.
He thinks it is right. He doesn't drink a lot of it, but he
He will tonight.
He will tonight.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
I used to buy $100 bottles of wine and fill up a 16-ounce glass with ice cubes. Yep. And then pour this $100 wine in it.
It all floats your boat, baby. It all ends up the same place, the phone booth.
Imus in the morning.
I hate you.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
All right, look, the I-Man Talk program. My second favorite blues singer, blind Mississippi white boy, Pig Feet Dupree. Morning, blind.
Morning, boy.
How you doing, babe?
I got the blues, boy.
Oh, I know you do now. What's this one called?
This is the Amelia Earhart Blues.
I like this already.
Let me count this one off here.
Okay. What are you doing?
Just count it up, boy.
Okay.
I was going to make some history, be as famous as I could be. I was going to fly around the world, but then I crashed my plane into the sea. I was Amelia Earhart. Has anybody been looking for me? Been gone since 37, but I don't think that I was ever missed. Stuck in the Pacific with Gilligan, but I didn't worry because I was an optimist. Might have never gotten off this island, but I sure did get my ass on that bestseller list. Fame is fleeting when it happens, and at best is dubious. But what good is being famous when it's only posthumous? I was Amelia Earhart. I was lost and nobody knew where to look. Guess I should have spent my time sending out messages in bottles instead of writing this stupid motherfucker.
Blind Mississippi white boy, Pig Feet Dupree.
And if anyone's son lost the cabin pressure and put that oxygen mask over your nose and mouth and breathe normally.
Who is neither blind nor black, nor does he have pig feet. Whatever. I'm Imus in the morning. This is WFAN in New York, an Infinity Broadcasting Station. It's time for the news. Here with us, Chuck McCord. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning, I-Man. 45 degrees right.
Military Affairs Advisor, the late General George S. Patton, Jr.
At ease, as you were. I can now reveal why you people have been called here this morning. The news is not good. We are about to embark on our most perilous mission to date. Some of you will not be coming back. We are going to be jumping into a drop zone populated by individuals so dangerous, so utterly without common characteristics of humanity as to defy the imagination. Private, let's look at the target. Fire up the overhead and pretend that rack of lights up there is a high-tech corporation's board of directors and you're the Unabomber. Jesus, did we take any casualties? No? Good. Slide one, Private. That's it, people. Satellite view. A forlorn hellhole of hazard. Anybody recognize it? Yes, soldier.
Sir, that's Branson, Missouri, sir.
Excellent. You'll be a platoon leader on this mission, soldier.
Please, sir. No, sir.
Now then, the Imus in the Morning program, throwing all caution to the wind, is actually headed into this territory this week.
Oh, God, sir, the humanity.
I know. I'd much rather face a battalion of malodorous Iraqis in their underwear myself. But this experience won't be all that different. Branson, Missouri. A place where washed-up, teeth-sucking, hee-haw guest hosts go to die. Much like an elephant's graveyard for gophers. Well, slide two, Private. Here. Close-up of the so-called Branson Strip. Over 50-odd theaters scattered here, and here. Yeah. We will be going in with the objective of blowing them all up and ridding this landscape of an infestation of people such as the Lennon sisters, with the surviving remnants of the Lawrence Welk Show, the Osmond brothers, who are now all pushing into their 60s and 70s, Glenn Campbell, who we hope to hang from a Wichita line, Mickey Gilley and Boxcar Willie, who intelligence reports may be as close to each other as their names suggest. Here is the Grand Palace Theater, the largest capacity, where you can look at the results of Kenny Rogers' latest failed liposuction. Branson even has, as God is my witness, Yakov Smirnoff, Bobby Vinton, and Tony Orlando and Don. Jesus, people. I would not have been surprised if William Colby had turned up with a theater in Branson, had they not regrettably located him otherwise not so many days ago in Maryland.
Shut up.
And who attends these programs? 52,000 clones of Fred Imus and cousin Minnie Pearl, who just pulled into town on a smoking 1953 school bus with bumper stickers all over
t-shirt that say, "My boss is a Jewish fisherman." This shall not stand. Enough with a geographic location that plays host to people whose philosophy and practice is derived from the Mickey Gilley hit, "Oh, the sheep all look prettier at closing time." Get your gear together and let's mount up.
Sir, mount up, sir.
Poor choice of words. Let's go kick some butt. Thank you for your attention. That is all. You all.
Imus in the morning.
Massachusetts, the Honorable Edward M. Kennedy.
What time is she meeting me? At the Hilton? Oh, Marriott, fine. Tell her that I'm... my fellow Bay Staters and my fellow Americans, I've reserved this time with you this morning to express the sense of indignation I feel, and I hope you share, over what can only be described as the continued pummeling of our nation's leader, President Bill Clinton. Enough is enough. The latest injustice evolved from Mr. Clinton's recent formal news conference, during which he was insolently asked whether he was still relevant. In view of, nearly everything that's happened since he assumed his high office. I stand before you today to declare unequivocally, yes, he is. Furthermore, he is still relevant despite the rude rambling of the New York Times, which seized editorially on the anemic tone of Mr. Clinton's press conference performance with its tired laundry list of Democratic perennials, from which the rest of the nation has moved on. And despite the callous commentary of Jeff Greenfield, who reviewed Mr. Clinton's performance under the headline, "The Shrinking President." I see from your photograph that you're certainly not shrinking, Mr. Greenfield. And despite the many other suggestions that Mr. Clinton's indecisiveness, his please-like-me psychosis, and his Dennis Fong malleability have laid our country open to anybody who gets their jolly seeing a former superpower squirm. Well, let's take just a moment to review why, indeed, our president is still relevant.
Senator.
All right, he's still young. That's very relevant. He went jogging with Uda Pippig, who just won the very relevant Boston Marathon. He has all his hair, and he digs chicks, for which I am personally quite thankful, as it gives me this sense of vindication somehow. So I say, for these reasons and many more, let the word go forth from this time and place that Ted Kennedy says, enough bill bashing. Enough of the sort of gratuitous item in the Washington Post, dredging, let me find another word, dragging up mean-spirited white questions again. Reporting the fact that the white prosecutor is looking into whether a box of secret documents was spirited out of Vincent Foster's office the day after he Sam cooked himself.
What are you saying? You're mumbling.
I know.
What are you, drinking?
Not yet, no. I'm saying white because if I say the rest of the word, which describes the chemical substance that covers 3/4 of the earth, you'd play that sound effect, recalling an unfortunate episode in my past that causes me to appear the fool.
Well, no, I wouldn't. First of all, that's childish, and second of all, we're past that.
Really?
Say anything you want.
Anything?
Yes.
White water.
Senator?
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Just one thing. Toll.
I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand. I want a hand, take me by the hand. Pretty mama, come and dance with your daddy all night long. I like to hear some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand. I'm a in the morning.
Good night.
The new Shonen Knight video.
No, Beavis, it's Connie Chung. She's interviewing Faye Resnick, the lady who wrote that book about Nicole Simpson.
This sucks. Put on American Gladiator.
Cut it out, Beavis. This is important. I'm concerned that this lady's book is just one more thing that could prevent O.J. from getting a fair trial.
How come?
Too much tabloid publicity. This woman says that Nicole had an affair with another woman, another football player, and had an argument with O.J. on the afternoon of the murders.
She did it with another woman?
Judge Ito had a meeting in his chambers about the book and then asked the media not to give it any attention until after the jury was sequestered. But here she is with Connie.
I'd like to sequester something in her chamber.
See, Beavis, that's what I mean. The public has a voyeuristic obsession with the prurient and salacious aspects of this case.
She did it with another woman? I'm getting a Woodrow.
You know, now that you mention it, Beavis, that Faye Resnick kind of makes my knees knock.
So, how come you're so concerned about O.J.?
It's one of the freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution, Beavis. O.J. could end up getting off if the judge determines that he won't get a fair trial due to all the publicity surrounding the case.
So, like, what does that have to do with you?
I'm just interested, that's all.
Hey, Paula!
Hello?
Hi, honey. We're on the air, so,
What are you doing?
talking with Deirdre Coleman, so I'm gonna...
Hi, I'm Karen, and this is my...
You ain't nothing but a hound.
Cross the rope over that light rack there. Listen, are those the lights that fell on the Clintons in '92? I don't know about you, but I bet they wish now that they'd hit them.
Andy, we're on the air.
Sorry. Okay. Last week, you might remember, I announced my resignation from these stints on the Imus in the Morning program. So aghast was I over the toothless gum job of a speech the I-Man delivered to that now infamous Washington, D.C. dinner. I said I no longer wanted to be identified with the show. So I said that was it. I had made my last appearance. Well, circumstances now require that I make one more appearance, this one, to announce that not only have I done my last show, I've also drawn my last breath. It's not Imus at the center of the vortex this time, though. It's my dear friend and colleague of more years than I care to remember, that boob Mike Wallace. His profile of Imus on the CBS News Magazine program, 60 Minutes.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Oh, sure.
I did. Now, I love a good up-by-the-bootstrap success story, a la Horatio Alger. That, however, was Fellatio Alger. The only thing correspondent Wallace didn't do was to kiss Imus full on the mouth. Well, that's why I've decided to take a ride here today on the Vincent Foster Memorial Thruway. After a long, and if I do say so myself, illustrious career as a respected journalist, between the Imus speech and the Imus profile by correspondent Wallace, my life isn't worth a spider fart. The humiliation of being associated with these two programs, Imus and 60 Minutes, is now complete. Imus is being hailed by pundit and public alike as some national folk hero as a result of that anemic titty baby milksop sermon. Did Joseph Abood also design his leg warmers, one wonders? And Mike Wallace, the old prosecutorial bushwhacker of the cathode ray tube, now apparently angling for Jan Winter treatment by the Wall Street Journal. Shut up. Pathetic. That's why I've gathered these various suicide devices on my desk here. Take a look. Okay. This is a hangman's noose. Got to make sure the drop is right, though. Yeah. This is an old samurai sword. You fall on these, I take it. Messy. This is a vacuum hose that's hooked to the tailpipe of my car out in the garage. Kind of complicated. Deer rifle. Got to work the trigger with your toe, though, and my arthritis has been killing me. And this, of course, is the old standby, my Army 45. Neat, straightforward, bluey, and you're out of there. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. Well, maybe this is a little radical. Okay, I won't do it. But if I hear one more Imus suck-up, I swear I'll... Excuse me? But what's that you say? This week he's in People magazine and Newsweek.
What you want Willie to sing? Well, we were talking about Pretty Paper, which was...
I mean, Christmas is coming right up now, isn't it?
This is a great song that Willie wrote years ago.
It's a true story, too. I was living in Fort Worth, and there was this guy who was stayed out on the sidewalks out there collecting money, you know, and he would sell pencils and whatever. And on the street corner there in Fort Worth. And, of course, they tell me that his wife come by and picked him up every evening and dropped him off every morning in their new Cadillac. So, so obviously he was doing okay. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue, wrap your presents to your darling from you. Pretty pencils to write I love you. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Crowded streets, busy feet, hustle by him. Downtown shoppers, Christmas is nigh. There he sits, all alone on the sidewalk. hoping that you won't pass him by. Should you stop? Better not. Much too busy. You better hurry. My, how time does fly. And in the distance, the ringing of laughter. And in the midst of the laughter, he cries. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue. Wrap your presents to your darling from you. Pretty pencils to write I love you. Pretty paper, pretty ribbons of blue.
Oh, that's fabulous. I love that.
Great stuff.
Goodness gracious.
Kinky cried a tear on that one. Shed a little tear.
Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let her memory torture me. Whiskey River, don't run dry. You're all I got, take care of me.
Imus in the morning.
Spread.
You're now one of the most powerful women in show business.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, it's right. Esther Lobster Newberg.
Who did not ask, by the way, to be on this morning. Okay.
Pat has a pathetic little book that he,
Which you'll steal from now.
I was a big-time sports commentator once.
yeah, that's...
Shut up, Bernard.
You have no hair,
I had a
Bernard.
job once.
Jay
Bernard,
Mendelson.
you have no hair.
Didn't Miss Mendelson? Dan, you're a midget. Didn't Miss...
You have hair on your back.
You apologize to her right now.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Lobster is humping... well, let me rephrase that. Our trainer.
Nobody.
A machine.
Must love when 5 guys call her.
Good morning.
Who are you sleeping with?
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Imus in the morning, 2020 sports. Let's go to the audio tape.
The I-Man greeted warmly in Branson. Good morning. Mike Brainwood Sports, the legendary Radio Hall of Famer broadcasting live in Missouri today, with thousands of demonstrators lined the streets of Branson to protest the I-Man's arrival. One Branson resident claims after requesting an autograph from the aging DJ, the I-Man responded in a disgusting way.
He spit in my face. He flat out spit in my face.
Man said he would press charges following today's show.
Aren't you supposed to be doing sports?
I like to branch out occasionally.
Well, let's branch back in.
In sports, Orlando advances. The Magic beat the Hawks last night, winning the series in 5 games. Next up, they face the Chicago Bulls. Bulls, of course, advancing after beating the New York Knicks in 5 games.
Yes. Hey, how'd that happen, Mike?
Big center and captain, their number 1 warrior, Patrick Ewing, was asked what went wrong in the series.
We didn't win.
Once again,
That boy got he's got his finger right on the pulse, doesn't he?
Ewing once again sums it up best.
How many women do those punks from the team punch after the game?
I beg your pardon?
Move on.
In baseball, how about them Cardinals shut out the red-hot Marlins 6-0. I think Florida's win streak at 9. Meanwhile, the Mets' losing streak is at 4. They lose in 10 to the Padres. Think about all the positives.
Well, we did a lot of good positive things today. I mean, I thought Jonesy pitched a very good baseball game. We got a couple very good innings out of Doug, and I thought Ordonez played a hell of a shortstop.
Hello.
The final score wasn't very nice, that's all.
Dallas Green being very protective.
Well, he's clearly drunk. Well, he hadn't got a clue, has he?
I don't think so. Could easily be one of the people walking around the streets of Branson out here.
Come on, let's press on.
In tennis, another win for Steffi Graf, the physically attractive tennis star. Used her taut body to perfection, advancing to the quarterfinals of the German Open, wearing a white pleated skirt, which occasionally blew high in the wind.
Come on, that'll be fine.
That'll do. Graf will play her quarterfinal match tomorrow, and we'll be watching.
Yeah.
And that's sports. I'm Mike Breen.
Well, you can knock knock 'em down, stomp 'em on the head. Make damn sure that they're good and dead. Hit 'em with a truck, cut 'em with a knife, but stick a singer down in Branson and they got a new life. Hey, Imus, king of rock and roll. You drive down the strip here, Imus? Those aren't theaters, man. Those are mausoleums. I mean, if Andy Williams can draw people here after years of drawing nothing but flies, well, I don't intend no blasphemy, but move over, Jesus. You know, the lesson ain't lost on the king, Hoss. You might as well fire up a fan club because I'm making a big announcement. Elvis is buying himself a theater. Gonna call it the Heartbreak Hotel. Working up a little tune about it. Gonna go something like this. Well, they planted me at Graceland, but I got a new place to dwell. It sure as heck ain't heaven, but it ain't exactly hell. Well, it's Branson, Missouri, baby. Branson, Missouri. Branson, Missouri, and it sucks. It still needs a little work, but you get the idea. Yeah, like everybody else in rockabilly, Elvis has died and gone to Branson. You seen the kind of business old Priscilla's doing running the Elvis Presley estate, ain't you, son? Millions, man. Hell, think what she could do with me back on stage. It'd be easy, too. All she'd have to do with me is that Weekend at Bernie's thing. You see that movie? Hauling around that dead guy? That's all they got to do, man. Get a couple of guys to hold me up, drop a cape on me, hang a guitar around my neck, throw on about 25 pounds of makeup, make me jiggle, Millie Vanilli hound dog or something behind me, and hell, son, we're rich. You seen the kind of people who pour into these dives to watch these has-beens? Hell, they don't know that they're looking at a bunch of cadavers. They're damn near cadavers themselves. Every damn one of them represents Generation Amulet. Got that lavender hair, epoxy teeth, 4 canes, no brains, and an AARP card that's been punched so many times, it looks like a doily. One of these, old man. Dead man dancing, gone to Branson. Let me back on out of here, Hoss, behind a little vamp I'm working on to open my He Ain't Dead, He's Just Overfed resurrection show. He's a hunk of withered skin, but in great shape for the shape he's in. Yeah, a hunk of rotten flesh, but ain't that better than that oaf John Tesh? A little bit saggy and runny, don't mean the king can't make no money. Oops, catch him cause I think he's tilting. Yeah, Elvis is back in the building. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. That's what you say. Each time that I hold you this way.
Imus in the morning.
Law, published by Villard, available at bookstores obviously everywhere. There's an incident in this book, George, involving Porter Wagner. And hey, it's in the book. It's in the book. I just can't believe that Porter would have said on Backstage at the Opry, "We'll be right back, folks, and I'll tell you about the time George Jones grabbed my penis."
I don't think so.
Can you imagine in your lifetime that Porter would have ever told that story?
No, I didn't think he would.
No, so why did you? That's my question.
Well, I just thought it would, I need to get it all out, you know.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
But I was so drunk, I couldn't get to the bathroom, so I went up and peed in his phone booth.
I don't know. I've been pretty bad, but I've never done that.
Well, I've never grabbed Porter Wagner's penis either.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Hey, Bubba, this sucks. I want to go home.
You can't, Beavis. So long as Imus is on this world tour, we have to go along with him.
How come?
Because without us, there'd be another minute and a half he'd have to fill with book reviews and cheesy auto body express plugs.
Vegas was cool. Tucson was cool. Even Minneapolis wasn't bad. But Missouri sucks. Why Missouri?
Well, because the I-Man has an affiliate in Springfield, KWTO, Classic Rock.
But if KWTO is a classic rock radio station and it's in Springfield, how come we're here in the middle of Goober Central?
Well, because Branson is the only place that's even close to happening within a 200-mile radius of Springfield.
You mean this cowboy dude, Mickey Gilly's place, is the only thing that's happening in Missouri?
No, Mo Bandy's here, and Boxcar Willie.
A Mo and a homeless dude?
Now, Beavis, Missouri's got a lot going for it. Well, I know. Charles McCord is from Springfield.
I thought Chuck was from New Jersey.
Well, he is now, but he was originally from Missouri.
So, like, what does that mean?
Well, it means there's probably quite a few militia groups in this state.
I guess it's Chuck from here again.
be all that bad. Davis, Missouri is part of America's heartland, just like Arkansas. I guess that's why I feel so at home. Does that mean you're gonna pull your pants down in the hotel here, too? Well, it is the show me state.
Davis and Bubba here in the Imus in the Morning program. It is 13 minutes till the hour. We're at the Mickey Gilley Theater, which is, those of you folks been out or hang off a boxcar. So I never thought, if you've worked on the railroad and hung off a boxcar for 16 hours a day like I did, and switching boxcars or riding on the head end of a train for 3 days, well, suddenly it's not romantic, you know, it's a horrible job, so. But boxcar, I've seen him with Porter Wagner on backstage at the Opry, and, you know, and what I want to find out from each of these people is if they've had
Now the nation's flyover zone got its name. Andy? Have you ever been to our American Middle West? I hadn't either, until this Imus in the Morning Radio Steel Wheelchairs tour swung this way. Branson, Missouri, Wichita, Kansas. Two towns that are pretty representative of the Middle West, I think. That great swath of homespun values and virtue, from whose loins sprang, well, nothing, as far as I can see. No, the reason that the American midsection has come to be dubbed the flyover zone is because, save for smoke in the cockpit, there is no conceivable reason to land there. Branson, Missouri is in an area of hills called the Ozarks. It's just a hoot and a holler, as the natives here would say, from the spot where one of the country's 100 smartest lawyers waded through the Tyson's chicken doo-doo pollution to build vacation homes that look like the residences Bosnian Serbs are burning to the ground before they flee Sarajevo in their ox carts. I know homeless people in New York City who look at the model home there and say, "You want me to live in that? Stop yanking my chain." Branson, a neon nightmare of deliverance delegates, gathered to shake snakes at one another and bow down in reverent homage to Roy Clark. Pardon me, but I don't think so. And if I see one more John Deere tire painted white with snapdragons growing in it, I'm lodging a formal protest with the National Endowment for the Arts. Or one more cement donkey pulling a cart with a guy in a sombrero, I'm declaring war on Mexico. I mean, there's poor taste, no taste, and then there's the Glenn Campbell Theater. Jesus. Let's move on to Wichita. It's in Kansas, you know. Alf Landon was from Kansas. Enough said. Wichita is the Ozarks without the class. Aircraft companies going broke. A Hooters restaurant. Something called the Wichita Wranglers, AA minor league baseball team. And the Century 2 Convention Hotel. Here's what I'd like to know. Convention of what? The UFO abductees of 1966 reunion? They're right in the middle of the most major event of the Wichita calendar, by the way, the annual River Festival, May 10 through 19, on the Arkansas and Little Arkansas rivers that run together here somewhere, featuring, as God is my witness, a bathtub display, if you're in town on the 16th, a Cajun Food Fest. And I'll bet they make some really terrific Cajun food in the middle of Kansas. And the Wicked Wind Bicycle Tour. Wonder what that means. Be careful about following too close to the guy ahead of you. Must have been that Cajun food. And, of course, the highlight of the whole shebang, the annual William Colby led canoe race. First one to shake hands with Davy Jones takes the title. And first prize, a copy of He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones. Flyover? Yes. Book me, please. And even if it's on one of those jets that look like a pack of Coolio clones painted it while on a tagging jag with 100 cans of stolen Dayglow Rust-Oleum. You know the ones where the cabin attendant comes on the intercom and says, "Forget returning your seat backs and trays to their full upright and locked position. After this landing, it won't make any difference." Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let her memory torture me. Whiskey River, don't run
Imus in the Morning, and Senator Robert Dole was scheduled to be on at 10 minutes past the hour, and he just called Bernard and he said he forgot. which is another reason he should be president. They didn't call him and give us some lame excuse about some big meeting or...
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, I was in the shower.
Well, I just hope I don't forget to tell people to vote for you when it comes time.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
So I got a call from your wife, Elizabeth Dole. Did she give you that Valentine's Day gift?
She thought she was buying me a religious book. She wanted to know if you still had that money back. Money back.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Hi, I'm Karen, and this is...
All right, here now, Media Watch, pulling surgical glove over hand and index finger. The man who probes America's media force, veteran broadcast journalist Walter Cronkite.
And today, second digit right hand once again finds itself inserted into the fetid, dark recesses of my old alma mater, CBS News. And we discover there more evidence of chronic disease, the debilitating dilemma of discord. Now it's CBS correspondent Bernard Goldberg mowing down CBS correspondent Eric Engberg in a clash of journalistic Jews. Goldberg cites an Engberg report about Steve Forbes' flat tax as evidence of a pervasive liberal bias that he claims is endemic in network television news. Well, speaking as a party of one, this old flaky-skinned, deeply furrowed, antiquated news virtuoso says Goldberg's views can be dismissed as those of a bug-eyed, carping, typical die-hard reactionary crackpot who's a legal heir to George Wallace and Jesse Helms. How dare Goldberg suggest that the fabled news division of Dan Rather, of Ed Bradley, Mike Wallace, Leslie Stahl, Don Hewitt, Harry Reasoner, Fred Friendly, Charles Carrollton Osgood, Ann Taylor Fleming, John Leonard, the nut in the overalls, how dare he suggest that some liberal bias or attitude of superiority could exist in such a group? It would be just as nonsensical to suggest a liberal bias exists at newspapers presided over by Arthur Oak Sulzberger, Howell Raines, and Frank Rich, or Catherine Graham, Ben Bradley, and Meg Greenfield. Preposterous. CBS News President Andrew Hayward was deeply wounded by Goldberg's insensitive, bizarre conclusions and openly wept. Dan Rather, with lower lip trembling, said he was so upset he didn't know whether he'd be able to pursue his next 48 Hours episode, celebrating the National Organization for Women, part one of a 155 segments plan. A CBS liberal prejudice, obviously the overwrought rantings of a dangerous extremist at sea in an ideological fog. Pity. I'm personally just thankful that our popular, thoughtful, and Christ-like president, Bill Clinton, seeks to expand our nation's health care structure to cover an ever-widening expanse of ills, real and imagined, as clearly correspondent Goldberg needs therapy, and yes, maybe just a hug. Program reminder as I conclude. Tonight, CBS Eye on America, the North American Man-Boy Love Association, NAMBLA, Benevolent Perversion, with CBS correspondent Bob Simon. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Also available at www.netnews.fatuousthink.com. Thank you and good night.
All right, please, you all give a nice hand to the mayor of Branson, Missouri, Mayor Lou Schaefer.
Good morning, You know what I did? About a week and a half ago, I asked Kathy give me a salad from Wendy's.
Right.
So I set it on the table down there, and I forget about it. So yesterday, I have her give me another one.
Yeah.
So yes, I pick up the one that's been sitting there a week and a half. No, this is a true story. And it's rotten.
Yeah.
I get on the phone, and I call Wendy's, and I say, what the hell are you people doing? Selling people rotten food. And I'm going around the office raving to Kathy. I said, don't ever go to Wendy's again.
Your radio sounds funny in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
I'm looking around there and I said, well, what's in this bag? There was this nice fresh salad that she just got.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
It's an article about Breen. Breen, a true rising star who's savoring the ride. Listen to this. All right. I have to credit Don with being a major help to me, Breen said.
I'm going to throw up.
I owe him a lot. He's just an incredible entertainer. You pathetic suck-up.
I was misquoted.
Well, you must have been.
My quote was, I hate his guts. I hope he dies soon.
Well, that's better.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Why is Miss Angelo lobbying against Jeopardy? Because she says it's racist. It doesn't feature enough African-American contestants, man.
I would like to take the NBA for $200, Alex. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm not going to take the NBA for $200.
I would
Shut
like
up.
menthol cigarettes for $300 money.
Imus
quickly out center, but it's picked up by Imus-May. Winding up at center, drives the long side, he
Red Wings win, and an announcer reaches puberty. Good morning. Mike Brain with sports. Ken Call with the call on WJR Radio. Nothing more exciting than a Game 7 of the NHL playoffs. And this one went to double overtime as Detroit edged St. Louis 1-0 in a game that was much closer than the final score indicated.
You're an idiot.
The game scoreless after 1 period, scoreless after 2 periods, also scoreless after regulation 3 periods, even scoreless after the first overtime.
Fine.
And it would have been scoreless after 2 overtime periods, but someone scored. Detroit now plays Colorado in the Western Conference Final. NBA playoffs, Utah eliminates San Antonio. Jazz beat the Spurs in 6 games. The clincher last night in Utah, 108-81. Spurs star David Robinson, known as the Admiral, saluted one of the referees after the game, a salute with the middle finger.
Rarely if ever say anything about the officiating. I don't think that should have an impact on the game, should dictate anything, but I'm really pissed off about tonight because I think Steve Gabby has brought this personal crap to the game all year long, and I think tonight was just garbage. I thought that third call was garbage, and I don't appreciate that. I think that was personal.
Very strong words from the Admiral.
What else is personal? Shut up. That's personal.
Utah will now play Seattle in the Western Conference Finals.
Who are the next plan, Mike?
I beg your pardon? In baseball, Milwaukee beat Chicago 3-2. Minnesota topped Toronto.
Hey, Davis, welcome to the smack dab middle of the USA. Kansas.
Get me out of here! Get me out of here!
Oh, what's the matter now, you moron?
Isn't Kansas the place where all those twisters come from? I saw that movie. Tractors and houses and cows and stuff get sucked up in...
Calm down, Beavis.
Idiot! It's a twister! It's a twister!
That's a pretty good impression, Beavis.
No, I mean look behind you. It's a twister! Whoa, that was cool.
Why, this is a strange-looking place. Where are we?
I don't know, but there's a whole bunch of weird people, and they all seem to be bowing and groveling in front of that scary-looking dude. The one with the deep voice and a fire coming out of his mouth.
Beavis, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. We've gone over to the land of Oz.
No, we're still in Kansas, all right, but we have just ended up in the land of Imus.
Wow, the Wichita I-Man. It's the great and powerful dog.
Pay no attention to that moron behind the microphone.
I'm gonna go ask him for something, Beavis.
What do you want, Bubba? A heart? Some courage? A brain?
No, that babe Dorothy's phone number. I like them red shoes. You know, if you click your heels together 3 times, it makes my knees knock.
Look, her dog Toto's licking himself.
Beavis and Bubba here in the Imus in the Morning program. It is 24 after the hour, and we're in Wichita, Kansas. Bureau Chief for NBC News and the host of Meet the Press. You saw that dopey talk show on CNBC?
Yeah.
So last Sunday on Meet the Press, we have Bob Gary on, and he's talking about in-running the president. At what point, why don't you tell me exactly what happened here?
I don't remember. I said, well, what happens if you crawl out of the limb and the president saws it off? And he looked at me and said, someone's already sawed off one of my limbs. And I said, oh, my God.
Your radio sounds fine in the morning. You're listening to Imus in the morning.
If you were on Meet the Press, and I sit across from you on Meet the Press, and you said something very dumb, and I said, you know, that's really a turkey of an idea. And then I look over and see your neck. I mean, I'd feel awful.
When it comes to gambling,
Luxury liners, it is I, Rush Limbaugh, your conservative captain, speaking, welcoming you aboard Right Wing Airlines. Should there be a sudden loss of cabin pomposity, a gas mask will drop from the compartment above your head. Place it over your nose and mouth and breathe normally. Put your seatbacks and rednecks in their locked and upright positions. Relax and enjoy the flight. Located in the seat pocket in front of you, you'll find a copy of The Reactionary, our in-flight magazine. Allow me to draw your attention to a particular article. Dateline Chicago, the Polish-American Congress accused of anti-Semitism. It appears that a letter written by Edward Moskal, head of the PAG, complains that the Polish government is overly acquiescent to Jewish reparation demands, and he further implies that the Jews are taking advantage of the situation. Boy, it doesn't get any better than media can promulgate ethnic stereotype. And if we are to believe what we read, if journalism is sacred, then these are unmitigated truths. So it's fair to assume that all other platitudes and cliches regarding race, creed, and color are likewise in their veracity. Now, I realize to pigeonhole an entire group is politically incorrect and insensitive to both pigeons and holes. But let us remember something. Not all stereotypes are negative. When we take a long, hard look at these bigoted bromides, we can actually find some favorable generalizations, positive character traits. Why, we could very easily find role models among these prejudicial paradigms. Why, I'd give anything to have the athletic prowess of a black man. I'd clamor to be as adept in mathematics and science as an Oriental. Would 'twere that I possessed the aplomb with finance that my Hebrew brethren are so blessed with. If only I could drink as much as my Irish friends, or own a lucrative 7-Eleven franchise like those hard-working Hindus. And if you think that I'm a racist for feeling this way, well, it's just plain to see that you're nothing but a shiftless, lazy, inscrutable skinflint who's either too drunk or too concerned with overcharging the white man to see the truth. Or else you're just a stupid Pollock. More up to this. Just kick those left-wingers out the door. We're mad as hell and we won't take it no more. Just look at the opinion polls. We want that old guy, Robert Dole. I've had it up to here with liberals. We need a president with principles. Not a gigolo with no self-control. Give me that old guy, Robert Dole. I like that old guy, Robert Dole. Obama Clinton's about to lose control. So I'm saying on your radio, give me that old guy, Robert Dole. There's a little downside called the New Hampshire Shuffle. Mark those ballots now. Senator, may I borrow your pen? Call him a relic, say he's over the hill. But he's still better than that imbecile Phil. No sex and violence at his movie show. Vote for that old guy, Robert Dole. You'll never see him with a bimbo. No knees are knocking with a $5 hoe. Ain't got a prostate, but he's sure got a soul. We love that old guy, Robert Dole. Still like that old guy, Robert Dole. Obama Clinton's about to lose control. So I'm saying on your radio, give me that old guy, Robert Dole. Give me that old guy, Robert Dole. Obama Clinton's about to lose control. So I'm saying on your radio, give me that old guy, Robert Dole. We want that old guy, Robert Dole. Obama Clinton's about to lose control. So I'm here saying on your radio, give me that old guy, Robert Dole. Still like that old guy.
Rush Limbaugh here in the Imus in the Morning program. Give me that old guy, Robert Dole. We're here in Wichita. Senator Dole, in the event he runs for president, does not want you to support him. And I said, well, I thought about the 15 cities that we're in now, and I thought, well, by 96, we'll probably be on 200 stations. And I said, I guess I'd have to tell all those folks on all those stations and all those states with all those electoral votes representing all those high-end demographics with all of that money that we were being forced to support Bill Clinton, even though, of course, we'd prefer to support Senator Robert Dole. Good morning, Senator Dole.
Yeah, you're going to be in Sioux City, Iowa soon. If you get up in New Hampshire, I'd like to be a co-host.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
How are you?
Well, doing fine. I've been trying to reach Ed Rollins. He's been out of town.
Why would you want to talk to him?
Well, the scoop down here is that he didn't pay people to not vote. He paid you to endorse Florio.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
It's time to think about spring cleaning, sleeping in total comfort. That's why it's also time to think about cooling your home. Calling your Carrier 5-star dealer now to evaluate your indoor comfort. Will guarantee you be cool and cozy when the hot weather arrives. Fact is, Carrier is
stories we're following in the Imus in Washington Network newsroom. I'm your program host, David Brinkley of ABC News.
I'm Don Imus, a living legend.
I'm Walter Cronkite, a living fossil. Here now, the news. Not so fast there, corduroy face. First, some developments since the morning papers came out. The Branch Davidian post-mortem goes on today, from Capitol Hill to the plains of Texas. A top-to-bottom inquiry at every imaginable level to determine what went wrong. President Clinton issued a statement a short time ago, speaking from the Oval Office.
My fellow Americans, I deeply regret the terrible tragedy that has occurred. I want to assure you that I am conducting the most comprehensive investigation possible to find out why Attorney General Janet Reno and the FBI acted outside my knowledge and jurisdiction on their own without any authorization from me, without me having even the foggiest idea of what was going on. At a time when I was out of my new job, Ms. Reno and the others were arbitrarily deciding without any input from me what they were going to do while I was in the dark. Now, I have asked for Ms. Reno's resignation and authorized her execution. She will be shot at dawn. It's the least this president, who knew nothing, can do for you, the American people that I constantly sacrifice so much for. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, in Dallas, Texas, a dim view of Washington's handling of the entire affair from an increasingly vocal Bill Clinton critic, H. Ross Perot, who says he would have approached things very differently. Perot was incensed last night during an appearance on the CNN program, Larry King Sucks.
Fat bastard, fat bastard, fat bastard. Larry, it's just sad how this thing ended. And you know what? Unnecessary. Now, if I'd have been in the White House, instead of that elephant-ass, buck-passing, blame-dodging, accountability-shirking butthead, why, hell, I'd have gone to Waco myself. That's how you fix things. I'd have got under Koresh's hood, greased his ball joints a little, and said, David, come out here, son. Let's talk. I'm Ross Perot. You're a f***ing nut. Here's a gun. Kill yourself. See? It's just that simple. Sometimes you gotta take the Messiah by the horns, Larry.
Meantime, cult leader David Koresh's grandmother, Jean Holland, says her grandson was an innocent victim. It was, in fact, a humanitarian brain surgeon who was just about ready to release to the world a cure for cancer.
Oh, he was a good boy. Loved everybody. You saw him. Fact is, he had sex with everybody in order to pass on them love genes. Now see what you did. Got us something that looks like a charcoal-flavored dog bone, and we miss out on a cure for cancer. Hope you're happy.
And finally, at the Justice Department, Attorney General Janet Blowtorch Reno issued a clarification of her role in the disaster and appeared to become more defensive as criticism of her actions mounted.
So I kicked a little butt. What do you want from me? That makes me the bad guy? Well, hey, somebody's got to be the law in this town. And if that means your occasional psycho's got to fry now and again, well, flick my bait. And as for President Pantload sticking me with everything, just let me say, the White House looks like it just might be a little on the flammable side itself. You know what I'm saying? Next time somebody asks me how I like my president, what's Janet Johnny Reno's answer going to be? How about extra crispy?
Well, a redneck nerd in a bowling shirt was a guzzling Lone Star.
The nation's flyover zone got its name. Andy?
Have you ever been to our American Middle West? I hadn't either until this Imus in the Morning Radio Steel Wheelchairs tour swung this way. Branson, Missouri, Wichita, Kansas. Two towns that are pretty representative of the Middle West, I think. That great swath of homespun values and virtue from whose loins sprang, well, nothing, as far as I can see. No, the reason that the American midsection has come to be dubbed the flyover zone is because, save for smoke in the cockpit, there is no conceivable reason to land there. Branson, Missouri is in an area of hills called the Ozarks. It's just a hoot and a holler, as the natives here would say, from the spot where one of the country's 100 smartest lawyers waded through the Tyson's chicken doo-doo pollution to build vacation homes that look like the residences Bosnian Serbs are burning to the ground before they flee Sarajevo in their ox carts. I know homeless people in New York City who look at the model home there and say, "You want me to live in that? Stop yanking my chain." Branson, a neon nightmare of deliverance delegates, gathered to shake snakes at one another and bow down in reverent homage to Roy Clark. Pardon me, but I don't think so. No. And if I see one more John Deere tire painted white with snapdragons growing in it, I'm lodging a formal protest with the National Endowment for the Arts. Yeah. Or one more cement donkey pulling a cart with a guy in a sombrero, I'm declaring war on Mexico. No. I mean, there's poor taste, no taste, and then there's the Glen Campbell Theater. Jesus. Let's move on to Wichita. It's in Kansas, you know. Alf Landon was from Kansas. Enough said. Wichita is the Ozarks without the class. Aircraft companies going broke. A Hooters restaurant. Something called the Wichita Wranglers, AA minor league baseball team. And the Century 2 Convention Hotel. Here's what I'd like to know. Convention of what? The UFO abductees of 1966 reunion? They're right in the middle of the most major event of the Wichita calendar, by the way, the annual River Festival, May 10 through 19, on the Arkansas and Little Arkansas rivers that run together here somewhere, featuring, as God is my witness, a bathtub display, if you're in town on the 16th, a Cajun food fest, and I'll bet they make some really terrific Cajun food in the middle of Kansas, and the Wicked Wind Bicycle Tour. I wonder what that means. Be careful about following too close to the guy ahead of you. Must have been that Cajun food. And, of course, the highlight of the whole shebang, the annual William Colby Lead Canoe Race. First one to shake hands with Davy Jones takes the title. And first prize, a copy of He Stopped Loving Her Today by George Jones. Flyover? Yes. Book me, please. And even if it's on one of those jets that look like a pack of Coolio clones painted it while on a tagging jag with 100 cans of stolen Dayglow Rust-Oleum. You know the ones where the cabin attendant comes on the intercom and says, forget returning your seat backs and trays to their full upright and locked position. After this landing, it won't make any difference.
Thanks to Mr. Hayes. Thanks to Mr. Mako. Dog is next. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Have a good weekend on the Fan.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
Today on That's What's Happening, this is John Mako with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Mets baseball.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN. New
York. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today? Christopher Russo on a Saturday morning in New York. Good to have you with us, talking about the world of sports as we chat. 2 about 1. Stevie Cohen and Mike Hayes across the way. Brian Hill a little bit later on. 718-937-6666. That's your two-way sports talk telephone number as we discuss what's going on. There's a lot on the board. Of course, you got playoffs for Sport Today broadcasts. We come back after the update at 12. Don't go away.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
You know, driving...
FAN, the flagship station for New York Mets baseball.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN. New York.
I just spoke to Doc Emmerich again. There's only one guy he thinks, not me, that has won a cup in 2 different cities, and that's Dick Urban. Our buddy Dick Urban's father, who did it in Toronto and in Montreal. Bob Johnson reached the finals in '86 with Calgary. They lost to Montreal. Terry Crisp coached them in '89. And then, of course, Bob won it with Pittsburgh, but he did not win it with Calgary. So Bowman right now is in a pretty exclusive club with the 2 and 2 cities. He can beat you do, and they're agreeable. And you feel confident he's got a year or 2 left. Then you try to go get the big 2 guard. Great show. Well done out of Joan Chin, Mike Hayes, Stevie Cohen. I ain't coming up next. We'll see you Monday at 1. Adios.
Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
Thank you all very much for coming. Do you guys all have an interest in becoming reporters, or?
No, I don't.
No.
They've seen what goes on.
Well, who did you interview?
Maury Taylor, and I got to talk
What'd you think of Maury Taylor?
He was really funny. Very nice guy.
Was he drunk when you talked to him?
Why is that? Sounded like it.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Those kids thought you were Dole.
No, they didn't.
No, they did. They said, the old man, am I right? That's Dole.
I thought he was Buchanan, James Buchanan.
In the morning.
Highway Patrol.
Imus in the morning, 2020 sports. Let's go to the audio tape.
Now it's Jordan in the corner, doesn't get the pass. Rodman, beautiful pass. Pippen underneath. Rodman follows up with a slam. Dennis Rodman rims it in.
Bowls eat the magic for lunch. Good morning. Mike Braidwood Sports. Brent Musburger with the call on NBA Radio. As this sportscast sponsored by the MTA. Game 1 Eastern Conference Finals. Bulls win by 38. In Chicago, they defeated the Magic 121-83. Michael Jordan was asked about the meaning of the blowout.
You know, we can't take this one game and say we won this series.
Very good. You need 4 to take the series.
We know that.
Game Tuesday will be in Chicago. That's game 2, that is. But it's obvious there was only one team that had any chance of beating the Bulls, and that was the New York Knicks, who shouldn't be embarrassed by being the second-best team in the NBA this year, and we salute them for that.
The second-best team in the NBA, even I know, is the Seattle people.
Oh, no.
Well, they won 64 games, the Seattle people did, whatever their name is, Seattle Seahawks, or no?
Supersonics.
That doesn't. On the Imus in the Morning program, Rush Limbaugh. Good morning, Rush.
My friends, ticking down the clock as we hurtle toward the end of the millennium, spending the last few years until inevitable Armageddon. And I don't mind telling you, Armageddon a little impatient myself.
Shut up.
I am Rush Limbaugh, intransigent icon and ruler of the reactionary right. I don't know what it is about the holidays that seems to bring out the absolute best in people. Check this out. Don Imus, one of my most stalwart competitors, nay, adversaries, Imus sent me, with his compliments, a 30-pound turkey, cooked to perfection, carved and put back on the rack, dressed with the most delicious oatmeal stuffing I have ever eaten. I'm telling you, this stuff was positively scrumptious. Some secret ingredient, apparently. I don't know what it is, but it seems to have a subtle ham flavor. I had my crack staff call the I-Man to get the recipe, and he was uncharacteristically tight-lipped, although he finally admitted that he did, to use his words, pork the turkey a little bit. I hate being right all the time. I, too, have a warm and gooey feeling inside me this holiday season, and I find myself in a more reflective mood than usual, pondering the many ironies and enigmas. That's the E word, by the way. I was thinking of how much Colin Powell reminds me of Bill Clinton. Colin Powell, who just wanted to be president, but unfortunately has a wife who doesn't want to be first lady. And Bubba, who unfortunately wants to be president, but has a wife who doesn't want to be just first lady. Why, the world of Dr. Seuss makes more sense than the world of Bill Clinton. In fact, his recent standoff with Congress could be a cat in the hat book itself. Can't you see it? The overblown bleeding heart sitting atop his stack of vetoes in a candy cane striped top hat, gorging himself on green eggs and ham. I am Bill. She is Hill. We will not yield to Capitol Hill. We would not, could not show compliance. For to the poor we've pledged alliance. That newt's a hoot in his pursuit of budget cuts that I dispute. I will not budge. I will begrudge it. I will not pass Gingrich's budget. I am a man and not a mouse. I will not let it pass the House. I would not, could not let him bear down Medicaid and Medicare. With retirees, I build rapport. You ask what for? I want 4 more. So on those seniors I will dote. Before they croak, I want their vote. More optimism.
All right, here now on the Imus in the Morning program, Rush Limbaugh, and it's still rockin' Dole for me.
What's the matter with your President Clinton? Can't you tell that he feels your pain? Go ahead and buy the Democratic ticket if you want to ride a runaway train. Bill and Hillary, they ain't doing what they oughta. Can't tread or keep their heads above the white water. Everybody's talking about the new right money, but it's still Robert Dole for me. What's the matter with Lamar Alexander? He's just a
We're going to Boston. To the mayor of Branson, Missouri. Mayor Lou Schaefer. How are you, Mr. Mayor?
Fine.
How'd you wind up being mayor? Is it like a regular city election and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just like you do in New York.
Or Chicago. Or Chicago. It's not like Chicago, is it, Mr. Mayor?
No.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
In the headline stories yesterday, Senate Majority Leader Bob Dole making this huge announcement that he's quitting his job by the middle of June.
I actually thought, politics aside, I thought that was a pretty bold move. Yeah, it is. I mean, what does he do? He's screwed if he doesn't get elected, isn't he?
He goes back to Russell, Kansas, I guess.
Just sits there, right?
That's right.
The White House or home or a home.
In the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Isn't it time to do something?
Help me, I'm falling in love.
Jet. He says this report that showed value, Jet.
Not getting on it, but standing by it.
Standing by it. Right there by the Busa.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
The tears inspiring a story, though, from Colorado Congresswoman Pat Schroeder and today's Washington Post, in which she recalls an episode when she shed tears. Schroeder says times have changed, but guys, we want equal rights. Let us cry too. That's the quote from Ms. Schroeder.
Please shut up.
Idiot.
Just get out.
Tree-hugging dingbat. Shut up.
I think tree-hugging dingbat is a little tough.
A little tough, don't you, Bernie?
No.
She probably cried when she couldn't get Katie Lang tickets.
In the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Here he is now, Calvin Trillin. Good morning, Mr. Trillin.
Good morning.
Would you mind? We've wondered if you would tell us the tic-tac-toe chicken story.
When an out-of-town visitor comes to New York, I usually take them downtown in Chinatown to play tic-tac-toe against a live chicken. I have found that when I take people down there, almost all of them look over the situation and they say the same thing. Well, the chicken gets to go first. And I say, yes, but he's a chicken. You're a human being. Surely there should be some advantage.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
And then a lot of them say, the chicken plays every day. I haven't played for years.
In the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Highway Patrol.
Imus in the morning, 2020 Sports rolls on. Yager to the left side to Zuboff, the Penguin point man in front. Got a man there. Nedved has hit his leg. Lemieux in front of Yager. Yager makes it 2-0 Pittsburgh. Oh, get home and cultural Yako's cigarette too. He smoked him like a bad cigar. Penguins tie it up in Pittsburgh. Good morning, Mike Greenwood Sports. Our good friend Mike Lang, the call on WTAE Radio. Penguins defeat the Panthers 3-2 to even the series at one game apiece. Mario Lemieux, battling the stomach flu, had intravenous fluids pumped into him before the game, scored a goal and an assist. That's a man's man, if you ask me.
Nobody asked you, just report your scores.
NBA playoffs, Seattle beats Utah 91-87. Sonics lead the series 2-0. As the series will now shift to Utah, Sonics forward Sam Perkins was asked if he's comfortable with the 2-0 lead.
2-0 going to that home Devil court. Doesn't that really mean a lot? I mean, a great deal.
Well, Sam and the Sonics.
I feel tired right now. That took me a nap. I feel dumb.
What is all that going? What's going on there?
I don't know.
Well, sleepy eye going too.
It's back to the old deal where, some geeky reporter like Breen sticks a mic in their face and they've got a comment. 82 times a year and now the playoffs. So
it's more than 82.
Yeah, so what do you say?
All right, fine. Stick up for them. Well, while Sam and the Sonics are off tonight, Magic and the Bulls square off at Chicago Game 2 in that series. Yesterday, Michael Jordan picked up his 4th MVP award. Jordan led the league in scoring, led the Bulls to 72 regular season wins. Also led them in mental toughness and led them in hustle. Showed them how not only to be good basketball players, but how to be good people. He pumped life into the city of Chicago. He cared for his teammates' feelings more than his own statistics. He's a credit to the game. A very sensitive, wonderful man, and I think I love him.
Pardon me?
I said I think I love him.
What's Roseanne going to say about this?
I don't care.
You don't care?
I feel very strongly about this. She's kind of come upon me.
So you're leaving your wife for Michael Jordan?
I don't know if he'll have me.
Oh, well, okay.
But I want him to
He
know.
might. You're kind of cute.
He likes white bitches like you.
That will be fine. I don't think we have to reduce it to that level. Please continue, Mike.
Baseball.
The late Richard M. Nixon.
Yes, indeed. And thank you very much, as usual. Imus in the morning. Well, back from the great voyage to the land of the goobers, eh?
Shut up.
Jeez, how many IQ points did you give up on that little journey? Branson, Missouri, and Wichita, Kansas. Well, golly. Here's a riddle for you, Dono. What has one tooth and 190,000 feet?
I don't know what does have one tooth and 190,000 feet.
The combined populations of Branson, Missouri, and Wichita, Kansas. That's what. A dental floss salesman's worst nightmare. Anywho, my dude, as you're well aware, a great American hails from that region, a remarkably great American, and my old friend and colleague, Bob Dole. Now, let's recount events of recent days. Senator Dole grants you an exclusive interview after his big announcement. Leaves Tim Russert and Bob Schieffer and the rest of them seething. Then, he shows up at the Charlotte Motor Speedway wearing one of your brother's denim shirts. Well, geez, what's next? He buys a lame horse, a pair of mangy dogs, starts dumping frontier salsa on his French fries, and ending speeches by saying, in conclusion, my fellow Americans, may we never forget 1-800-272-1957. I mean, I know he's behind in the polls, but this is ridiculous. Well, although if Senator Dole will apparently do anything, it's no more ridiculous than Bill Clinton exhibiting his propensity to say anything. Well, great political cartoon the other day by this fellow Mike Thompson. A bunch of headlines. You see it? Economy grows stronger, Clinton takes credit. Weather warm and sunny, Clinton takes credit. Airfares drop, Clinton takes credit. Madonna pregnant, Clinton takes credit. And now he's co-opted an innovative welfare reform plan developed by Governor Tommy Thompson of Wisconsin. I mean, if this parasite latches onto just one more Republican Party proposal, Senator Dole will choose him as a running mate. Perfect way to balance the ticket with a Democrat who's the current president. Jeez, what a buffoon. Well, ouch. Well, there you go, Dono. Just a portion of the world through a Dick's eye today. Dick, I, and all the rest, property of Dick Nixon, himself a famed former president, now deceased, of course, of these very same United States of America. Oh, by the way, you don't think we're going to be hearing that Governor Weld is signing up for Marion Barry Spiritual Renewal Sleepaway Camp, do you? Just a thought, just a thought. As Chris Dodd might say, nothing personal.
Here now with observation and comment on headline issues of the day from a hip-hop perspective. Imus in Washington's correspondent in the hood, Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Yo, Snoop is in the house. Boy, here on the HBNN, the Homeboy News Network. The presidential campaign is in full effect, and it seemed that about the only issue in the race that none of the candidates want to address is the race issue. You think it's the economy, stupid? It's equality, fool. I got the 411 instead of the wolf ticket. The white man's press be trying to give all my homies, bitches, and hoes around the way. They devoted more ink and inches to that hat-wearing skis and mini pearl than they did to that whites-only debate in Georgia. They gassing you up, selling you dreams. So let me kick it for you old school. We holding a cipher. I'm about to drop the science death row style. And it ain't closed caption for the hip-hop impaired. Can't advocate a debate. That's just white man fan to demonstrate all the hate that remain in Atlanta. Alan Keyes came in town, but he was brown and they got enough. He came to play, but they said they got led away in handcuffs. What's my name? Snoop Dogg. What's my name? What's my name? Snoop Dogg. In a gratuitous attempt to write this heinous reprobation about T-Boy Forbes off the keys of reparation. Chairman of the GOP, he must think Allen is a fool, cause that ain't even 40 acres and a mule. What's my name? Snoop Dogg. What's my name? What's my name? Snoop Dogg. It's an outrage that happened in the hometown of Dr. King, but the more change your mind is with, you know, the harder we sing. Stay tuned for the ultimate Olympic event when Atlanta burns again in the flames of descent. What's my name? Snoop Dogg. What's my Pat Buchanan at 6 High. Peace out. This has been commentary, doggy style.
My fellow Americans, I'm about...
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso. Fred Imus in the morning.
Hey, Bubba, what's the matter?
Well, Beavis, I just saw a picture of Bob Dole wearing an Auto Body Express denim work shirt.
Don't be upset. I'm sure Fred's got him in triple XL sizes.
Oh, I got my own ABX merchandise, Beavis. I'm just upset that Senator Dole's sucking up to the I-Man.
How come?
Because that's how I got to be president.
You think that just because Bob Dole wore an Auto Body Express denim work shirt, he's going to win the election?
Well, ever since he quit the Senate, he's been going out of his way to change his image. You know, he's had some problems in the past, being perceived as an old, cranky, immutable square.
So how is he being perceived now?
As an old, cranky, immutable square who's trying to look hip by wearing a Fred shirt.
The only election he could win by wearing one of those is for president of a trailer park.
Well, don't be so sure, Beavis. The Imus connection is a powerful one, and Senator Dole knows that he can get some extra campaign juice by being a walking billboard for Fred stuff. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Dole started showing up with all kinds of auto body merchandise now. Four-legged Fred hats, four-legged Fred coffee mugs.
I bet you two-legged Fred comes up with an Auto Body Express ballpoint pen. The one-handed Bob edition.
With 3 or 4 more photo ops like that, and Imus is totally on Dole's side.
Oh, I think Imus was already totally on his side.
Why do you think that?
Check out this Auto Body Express calendar. Tuesday, November 5th. Vote for Bob Dole today.
Oh, no.
Hey, where you going, Bubba?
I'm going to go strangle myself with one of those new Auto Body Express Joseph Abood neckties.
Bad to the bone. Imus in the morning.
Last night.
Fred hasn't phoned in yet.
Where's everybody? Fred's right on the case. What a nitwit. Were you going to call us or not?
Yeah, I've been busy. You've been sick, yeah. Sicker than a dog. Sicker than 2 dogs.
The reason you're sick all the time because you don't take care of yourself.
What's the reason you're stupid all the time?
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
That's on that Discovery Channel again.
Oh, great.
Well, you know they have lesbian dinosaurs, but they also have male queer dinosaurs.
Hey, Fred, you know, God, can you be homophobic enough?
They call them Megasaurus.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
2020 Sports. Jordan on the right side, turns at the baseline, fires, and it's good. It's tied at 81 on Michael Jordan's turnaround. 31 points for the King now.
Michael Elvis and the Bulls beat the Magic. Good morning. Mike Brainwood Sports, sponsored by your Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Brent Musburger with the call on NBA radio, referring to Michael Jordan as the King. But of course, there's only one King. We know that. That's Elvis Presley. Correct, I-Man?
Well, yes, fine.
All right. Just want to get you involved in the Sportscast early.
Happy birthday today, Mike, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Game 2 in Chicago last night. The El Foldo for the Orlando Magic. Leading by 18 midway through the third. They lose to the Bulls 93-88. And now trail the series 2 games to nothing. Magic guard Anthony Hardaway was asked if it'll be tough to regroup.
It's not tough to regroup because we know where we stand right now.
That's right. You stand no chance of winning the series, which now returns to Orlando for the next 2 games. Other NBA news, the New York Knicks have scheduled a press conference this morning to announce their head coach for next year. And the Imus in the Morning program has learned exclusively it'll be Don Nelson. Nelly was fired midway through this past season, replaced by Jeff Van Gundy. But team officials feel the timing was all wrong on that first hiring, and now would be a perfect time to bring him back. I asked Nelson earlier if he'd do anything different this time.
Well, I'm just trying not to screw it up.
So Don Nelson returning to the Knicks for the 1996-97 season.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Well, no, he's not. And you would think that you would know, you being the radio voice of the New York Knicks.
Good God.
That you would have some insight into this. Now, some of the headline developments we're tracking for you in the Imus and Washington Network newsroom.
I'm host of the program, David Brinkley. You doubtless are more familiar with me as the host of ABC's This Week with David Brinkley. Joined, as always, by our regulars around here, Walter Cronkite, Rush Limbaugh, the late John Donald Imus, and sitting in for Cokie Roberts today, Paul Harvey. Now, the news. First, in New York City, the investigation goes on into a developing scandal at the prestigious brokerage house Smith Barney, where it's alleged that female brokers were victimized by at least one senior manager, an individual who, according to court papers, maintained a location in the basement of a Smith Barney branch that he called the Boom Boom Room, a place where Bloody Marys were served from a garbage pail at 10 o'clock in the morning, where female workers were routinely grabbed and groped, and where condoms were sent to women employees through the office's pneumatic tube system. Here is Smith Barney spokesman, Sir John Gielgud.
At Smith Barney, we are, after all, an old boys network. Given that, what can one expect? You see now these women dress around the office, fetching, very fetching. So at Smith Barney, we do that which is most natural. We treat women the old-fashioned way, because they asked for it.
Sir John Gielgud, the legendary thespian, on behalf of Smith Barney, setting the record straight.
In Little Rock, Arkansas, the jurors weighing the Whitewater case against the McDougals and Governor Jim Guy Tucker indicated further confusion over the complexities of the evidence today. Yesterday, the jurors delivered 2 notes to Judge George Howard Jr., requesting help in wading through the Byzantine web of Whitewater transactions. And now, today, another note, asking the judge whether the panel might consider suicide as an option to trying to sort out anything that Hillary Rodham Clinton, one of the nation's 100 smartest shredders, might have had a hand in. However, Judge Howard quickly replied, ruling that the jurors must make every effort to reach a verdict and cannot kill themselves. As for comment on the development in Washington, Hillary Clinton said that she felt certain that the jurors wanted to kill themselves because of the intense media scrutiny they could be subjected to when the court case concludes.
And on the letter of the media, the nationwide search continues for the influential broadcaster Don Imus, who rose to considerable prominence through the radio program Imus in the Morning. Imus has been missing for days, ever since a national news weekly raised doubts about the validity of several awards the I-Man, as he is known, had ostensibly received from prestigious industry organizations, including whether he is, in fact, a member of the National Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame, as he frequently claimed. Heading up the hunt for Imus is famed New York City private investigator and retired hero police officer Bo Dietl.
We don't know what's happened to this guy, but we harbor verbalizations that the nut may have fosterized himself after running this scammerization over these awards that he never deserved, dated.
And in Washington, a person with whom the I-Man frequently jousted, President Bill Clinton, commented on the radio legend's disappearance during a morning press briefing. Here's what the president had to say.
Wait right here, honey. I hope the sumbitch is dead. I hope they never find him. I hope he's up Colby Creek, not only without a paddle, but with a paddle stuck up his That's what I hope.
Daddy, you look so good.
Meanwhile, the presumptive Republican Party nominee challenging Mr. Clinton, Senator Robert Dole, reacted with horror to the news that the I-Man is missing.
Well, Jesus, man, I went through all that, appeared on his program, wore that red shirt and all the rest, and that's it. Didn't I introduce some sort of enabling legislation barring him from killing himself before I got elected? Terrible oversight, terrible oversight.
To the moment, the only person reacting with utter calm in the Imus crisis appears to be the I-Man's wife, Deirdre Coleman Imus, who is urging a go-slow approach in the effort to locate her husband.
All right, 28 out the hour. Here's E.
You know I can't be found. Sit all alone. If you can't come around, at least please telephone. And don't be cruel. The heart is true. Baby, if I made you mad, something I might have said. Please don't forget my past. The future looks bright ahead.
Beavis, I just saw a picture of Bob Dole wearing an Auto Body Express denim work shirt.
Don't be upset. I'm sure Fred got him in triple XL sizes.
Oh, I got my own ABX merchandise, Beavis. I'm just upset that Senator Dole sucking up to the I-Man.
How come?
Because that's how I got to be president.
You think that just because Bob Dole wore an Auto Body Express denim work shirt, he's going to win the election?
Well, ever since he quit the Senate, he's been going out of his way to change his image. You know, he's had some problems in the past being perceived as an old, cranky, immutable square.
So how is he being perceived now?
As an old, cranky, immutable square who's trying to look hip by wearing a Fred shirt.
The only election he can win by wearing one of those is for president of a trailer park.
Don't be so sure, Beavis. The Imus connection is a powerful one, and Senator Dole knows that he can get some extra campaign juice by being a walking billboard for Fred stuff. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Dole started showing up with all kinds of auto body merchandise now. Four-legged Fred hats, four-legged Fred coffee mugs.
I bet you two-legged Fred comes up with an Auto Body Express ballpoint pen. The one-handed Bob edition.
3 or 4 more photo ops like that, and Imus is totally on Dole's side.
Oh, I think Imus was already totally on his side.
Why do you think that?
Check out this Auto Body Express calendar. Tuesday, November 5th. Vote for Bob Dole today.
Oh, no.
Hey, where you going, Bubba?
I'm gonna go strangle myself with one of those new Auto Body Express Joseph Abood neckties.
Well, I guess that's the end of that. How I let that get by, I have no idea, but it's 26 till the hour here in the...
The party's over.
And Willie.
They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night. The party's over, and tomorrow we'll start the same old thing again.
Imus in the morning.
Well, it's time to think about... All right, here now with observation and comment on headline issues of the day. From the hood, Imus in Washington, Snoop Doggy Dog.
Yo, Snoop is in the house. I'm about to drop a sign for y'all, let you know what's up. President Clinton restore most favored nation status to the Chinese. Which makes sense, because it seems we're doing them a lot of favors lately. In entertainment news, disaster movies are back in full effect, because twists are making more money, while the Supreme Court saying from now on in them punitive damages, you ain't gonna be making no more money. We kicking the flavor all over the IM, US of A and the AM. Time for commentary, Dorcas style. Know what I'm saying? Word to the homies on the streets of Beijing. Trading problems do appear to be in full swing. But instead of moving toward an impartial arbitration, Clinton wanna make them all most favored nation. I think the only reason that he wanna make nice, he afraid of losing out on all his pork fried rice. What's my name? No. Is this to stay or to go? A natural disaster of unparalleled wrath, striking down every thing in his path. Attacks with power and speed without so much as a warning. Am I talking about tornadoes or just Imus in the morning? But to me, getting down on the floor with your sister, right hand green, that's what I call twister. What's my name? Dole. Left foot yellow. Hey girl, put your leg on my shoulder. As soon as I get mine off my neck. A doctor with a beamer took it to the extreme. A bad paying job turned into a money-making scheme. $2 million he was able to extort, but now he gotta give it back, say the Supreme Court. If punitive damage would be based on what is fair, every black man and woman should be a billionaire. $2 million cause your BMW got a bad paint job. Go to Earl Shine, $79.95. Yo, Your Honor, I want my money. Punitive damages for the egregious injustices perpetrated by the man. My 73 Cadillac needs some new tires.
Snoop Doggy Dog.
Want no whack wall.
Gonna go from Snoop to Calvin Trillin here in a minute. 10 minutes till the hour. Got a note from Paul Bogarts over at Knopf. New book, Messages from My Father. What do you make of your homeboy, I guess, Bob Dole leaving the Senate?
I wrote a poem this week about it where I said, could you mean that if you lose this tussle, your wife and you will forthwith move to Russell? We think you'd miss those banquets and the dais. We think you'd miss the perks from Dwayne Andreas.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Forgive us if we ask of you what gives. What we call home is where a fellow lives. We use once more our voce rather soto to say the Watergate's not Kansas, Toto.
In the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
An observation on headline issues of the day. Imus in Washington senior political analyst, the late Richard M. Nixon.
Yes, indeed. And thank you very much, as usual. Imus in the morning. Well, back from the great voyage to the land of the goobers, eh?
Shut up.
Jeez, how many IQ points did you give up on that little journey? Branson, Missouri, and Wichita, Kansas. Well, golly. Here's a riddle for you, Dono. What has one tooth and 190,000 feet?
I don't know what does have one tooth and 190,000 feet.
The combined populations of Branson, Missouri, and Wichita, Kansas. That's what. A dental floss salesman's worst nightmare. Anywho, my dude, as you're well aware, a great American hails from that region, a remarkably great American, and my old friend and colleague, Bob Dole. Now let's recount events of recent days. Senator Dole grants you an exclusive interview after his big announcement. Leaves Tim Russert and Bob Schieffer and the rest of them seething. Then he shows up at the Charlotte Motor Speedway wearing one of your brother's denim shirts.
Well,
geez, what's next? He buys a lame horse, a pair of mangy dogs, starts dumping frontier salsa on his French fries, and ending speeches by saying, in conclusion, my fellow Americans, may we never forget 1-800-272-1957. I mean, I know he's behind in the polls, but this is ridiculous.
Well,
although if Senator Dole will apparently do anything, it's no more ridiculous than Bill Clinton exhibiting his propensity to say anything. Well, great political cartoon the other day by this fellow, Mike Thompson. A bunch of headlines. Did you see it? Economy grows stronger, Clinton takes credit. Weather warm and sunny, Clinton takes credit. Airfares drop, Clinton takes credit. Madonna pregnant, Clinton takes credit. And now he's co-opted an innovative welfare reform plan developed by Governor Tommy Thompson of Wisconsin. I mean, if this parasite latches onto just one more Republican Party proposal, Senator Dole will choose him as a running mate. Perfect way to balance the ticket with a Democrat who's the current president. Jesus, what a buffoon. Well, ouch. Well, there you go, Dono. Just a portion of the world through a Dick's eye today. Dick, I, and all the rest, property of Dick Nixon, himself a famed former president, now deceased, of course, of these very same United States of America. Oh, by the way, you don't think we're going to be hearing that Governor Weld is signing up for Marion Barry Spiritual Renewal Sleepaway Camp, do you? Just a thought, just a thought. As Chris Dodd might say, nothing personal.
Deirdre and I have never had anyone to our apartment for dinner. So we're having a test run tonight with two of the most sophisticated people I know.
Yep.
Mike Lynn and his wife Nina. And they, and I would just say this to both Mr. and Mrs. Lynn: eat first before you come over.
Why don't you fake your own deaths today?
I said, what kind of wine do you drink? Well, I know what kind. I know what he drinks. He drinks anything.
He
doesn't drink a lot of it, but he will
tonight.
He will tonight.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
I used to buy $100 bottles of wine and fill a 16-ounce glass with ice cubes.
Yep.
And then pour this $100 wine in it.
It all floats your boat, baby. It all ends up the same place, the phone booth.
Imus in the morning. Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
The New York Knicks will announce today they've given Jeff Van Gundy a 2-year extension to continue as head coach of that team.
Big mistake.
How about a black coach?
How about John Lucas? He's out of a job.
What's up with that, man?
What is up with that?
Don't ask me.
You're part of the problem.
You are part of the problem.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning.
Didn't Eli from Westchester send a nice fax today?
Eli from Westchester is a mental case. That's not going to appear in the program.
No, he's a rational human being.
He's the next Colin Ferguson, that guy. Don't sit next to him on the train.
He's a racist.
You look okay. Here's another. You look half white. Here's a 10. Oh, here you go, Whitey.
From baseball.
Maybe he could coach the Knicks.
In the morning on the fan. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting Station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Right after another 3 o'clock, this is John Minko.